All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Carnivore Talk. This is as usual, a roundtable discussion where we talk about our successes on the carnivore diet, our struggles with the carnivore diet. We'll be happy to answer your questions about the carnivore diet. And as always, you're not only welcome to join us in the chat, but you're welcome to join us on screen as well as one of our guests. So all you need is just a little courage and a webcam and a microphone. And you can join Meathead, Kat, and Rick here, who's an hour early. Nice to have you here early, Rick.
What happens.
And then, of course, here's Geezy, Jeff from the forums. And it's good to see everybody. How's everybody doing today on this fine Monday evening?
I'm good.
Good. So I was saying while we were waiting for the live to start is I am under a tornado watch and severe thunderstorm warning. So there is occasionally some bright lightning and some loud boomers outside. So if I happen to be in that unfortunate situation where I lose power, then all this comes crashing to an end. So if all of a sudden we're offline, that's going to be why. All right. So that's the weather here in Ohio. It has been hot. We've been under a heat warning. It's been in the lower 90s with the heat index up in over the 100s all weekend long. We've been enjoying the pool and finding relief that way until today. So it's too much lightning to go out there and enjoy the pool today. All right. And we see Meathead. It's dinner time for him as usual. It looks like he's got his natto. And Rick is our iguana chef today. All right. When's the last time you had iguana, Rick?
It's been a couple of weeks. I haven't had as many as I normally do, but I get them when I can.
Okay. And you just catch them outside, right?
Whenever I see one and it's within reach, I grab it. Sometimes it's roadkill. Sometimes it's on the run.
Oh, do they ever try and defend themselves?
Oh, yes. They try to use their tail. Sometimes they try to use their claws. But so far, they haven't got me yet.
All right. And looking over at the chat, I see at 7:51, a good reminder from Kurt, please hit the like button. That's something I always forget to ask. And supposedly that's good to ask, and it's good to have lots of likes because that helps push this out to other viewers too. So if you haven't hit the like button already, you could do us a huge favor and do that as well. If you'd like to join us in the chat, you can do that either by going to carnivoretalk.com and registering as a member. The link is always posted in the members only forum. There's also a calendar with an event page where you can get the link over that way as well. In the last several weeks, we've been actually posting it here in the chat, and we've had nothing but the coolest of people join. And so we're going to probably keep doing that until we have people that are not cool try and join. So keep your eyes on the chat, and we'll see the link in there as well. And then Kat is new to the screen. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Kat, if you don't mind? You look like you're currently exercising.
I am. I'm on a walking pad right now. I am a mostly stay-at-home mom. I homeschool 2 kids. Well, one, we're getting ready to start with the second one. And when I'm not doing that, I'm usually doing clinical microbiology. That's my other job, or weed eating. I do a lot of weed eating. We live on 10 acres, and a lot of it's not been cleared. There's trees and rocks everywhere. So lots of weed eating, taking care of dogs. And then there's the keto carnivore thing, fixing lots of meat, I suppose. So my husband's carnivore. We both started January 1st. But prior to that, I was really clean keto for about 3.5 years. So it really wasn't a huge change for me. I didn't eat that many carbohydrates at all prior to that. I mostly ate cheese and wine and meat. So kind of dropped the cheese and wine a little bit when I went carnivore. But yeah.
All right, I'm still a cheesy carnivore myself.
Yeah.
No.
I love cheese, but it doesn't love me back that much.
Yeah. And then I'll do wine on my wedding anniversary, which rolls around every December. So I'll still have a glass of
Aw.
wine then. Yep.
That's nice.
And that's about it. Otherwise, I'm mostly carnivore. I probably break it 2 to 3 times a month, depending on my circumstances. So I reached my goals, and I am now, instead of always being that guy at the restaurant that insists on a modified carnivore friendly dish, I'm willing to cheat with keto on the rare occasion that we go out. So
Nice.
and it's okay for me. So that's the way I am. All right. Well, glad you could join us. Have you noticed any differences between your lifestyle as a carnivore for going on close to 8 months now versus your 3 years of keto previously?
Well, I would say the food noise is a lot better because I did make lots of keto treats before. I definitely had a sweet tooth. And that's one thing I really appreciate about going carnivore is I really don't crave sweet stuff as much as I used to. So while I would make keto compliant treats, there's not much draw there anymore. I'd say that's been a big change. I did see some improvement with my GFR because I have kidney disease. But some of that came from the keto, I believe, and then has continued into carnivore. So I've had a significant increase in GFR since doing all of that. I went from at the lowest that I had tested was about 51% kidney function to my very last one was at 81, I think. Don't quote me on that. It was in the 80s, which is normal. So that was a big improvement. And then also I have narcolepsy. And really, I noticed that got a lot better even just on the keto diet. But I think it's continued. I feel like my energy levels are more steady on carnivore. I don't know. I don't get as hungry. I don't feel like I have as many dips up and down on carnivore. I'm just more satiated and fueled better, I think. Probably because it increase in fat and protein both.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Sure.
So I too have chronic kidney disease, which you may or may not know. I don't know how familiar you are with me particularly. And I've been stage 4 since 2019. And when I started carnivore, I started not having any miracle improvements, but micro improvements.
Yeah.
But that's testing using other markers because my EGFR was around 21
Wow.
with creatinine. And because I'm eating a higher protein diet, my EGFR would continue to go down because more protein equals more protein waste, and it builds up in my bloodstream because it doesn't get excreted efficiently. And so that started to go down. So we started measuring other things like cystatin C,
Right.
as well as protein and creatinine in the urine, in 24-hour tests and things like that. And those would show improvements. My cystatin C would go down. My EGFR calculated with cystatin C would go up. And then and then my and the urine markers would improve too. So I was showing little micro improvements, no miracles. And then I had a doctor prescribe me something for another issue altogether, and that prescription actually tanked my kidneys, sent me deep into stage 5. And then I figured out which drug it was and stopped taking it. And I've made some recovery, but not back to where I was. Well, my cystatin C is better than ever, so that's a good sign.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but my creatinine is still high. My phosphorus is still high. My EGFR calculated with creatinine comes in at a 12 right now, but it was down to 8. So,
wow.
So I might be regaining some ground ever so slowly. And that's the thing with kidneys, though, is they heal slow. So no miracles in my department. But You mentioned narcolepsy, and I was never officially diagnosed with narcolepsy, but I believe I had that or something
Yeah.
similar. Because I had this issue years ago, just a few years ago, before I started carnivore, where I would fall asleep at the wheel. So
Mhm.
I could not make it home from work without pulling over into a parking lot and taking a power nap.
Mhm.
And I went and I was tested for like sleep apnea and some stuff, and everything said I was fine. But I even had one time where I was in stopped traffic, and just because of the boredom of being in stopped traffic, the tiredness came on. I dozed off and had a little fender bender because I took my foot off the brake and rolled in front to the car in front of me.
Yeah.
Those problems are all gone. So
Wonderful.
no more narcolepsy, no more depression, no more brain fog, no more ulcerative colitis. I had fixed my hypertension. It's back though, thanks to the kidney damage.
Yeah.
No more periodontitis with the bleeding gums. And but I feel like $1,000,000. So like, I would never know I had chronic kidney disease based on how I feel.
Yeah.
And so and what's cool is my doctor says he can't wrap his head around it. He's got patients that come in with much better blood work than me who complain about how sick they are and they can't do anything anymore. And I come in and I'm like, I feel fine, and I think it's definitely my diet. Of course, my PCP doesn't want to hear that part though. So my kidney doctor's on board though. He's cool with my kid. He's cool with my diet. So
That's good.
yeah, he years ago he said that I needed to eat more protein because I was spilling so much protein.
Okay.
And that's kind of the opposite of what you hear mainstream medicine say. They usually say if you have kidney disease, you want to eat low protein
Right.
because they think it causes kidney damage. But I think the truth is that eating low protein is what causes more damage. People that eat a kidney-friendly diet, I think, get sicker and sicker and sicker. So
Absolutely.
and that's why I won't have any of it. So it's interesting that you mentioned narcolepsy, because I mentioned that I mentioned that earlier on another community stream, and it was today too. So to hear that twice in the same night, that's interesting. All right, so let's go visit the chat here. We'll put some of these up on the screen.
Hey, real quick, Bob, do you
Sure.
do you keep a therapeutic ketone level?
I don't measure my ketones.
You don't. Okay.
No. Yeah. No, I just like I said, I eat mostly meat. I'm a creature of habit, so I'm like, either pork, sausage, bacon, and a bunch of eggs in the morning, and then for dinner it'll be steak, 16 to 22 ounces of steak, ground beef, sometimes seafood, and maybe midday if I'm thirsty, I might stop at a gas station and get a drink and some beef jerky, as a snack. And I do that pretty much day in and day out. So that's why we like to talk about recipes here, because I don't do any of them and I should. But I just try and cook I cook things a little different every day, so each morning the eggs is cooked a different way. And I mix up the meats at night. I rotate them so I don't get any like food fatigue. So
I don't know in your specific circumstance, but I believe there's some evidence that the beta hydroxybutyrate, ketone, can be really beneficial for healing in the kidneys. That's why I was asking. So I try to maintain a certain level of ketones.
What do you use to monitor it? Because I've used like the urine strips in the past, but I'm sure there's like a device you can probably pop your
Keto
finger
Mojo.
and drip some blood on it or something. Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly Keto Mojo. You just take a little finger prick and you can measure your glucose and your ketone level from that drop of blood. And and it's good. You don't have to do it every day forever. You kind of get an idea of how your diet's going to affect, and other things, your fasting and your exercise, how that's going to affect your ketone level. So just something to think about.
Yeah, I'm a stats kind of person, so like getting one of those and measuring it would be kind of right up my alley. So
There you go.
I like doing that. I did the carb manager thing religiously for a while, logging everything until I realized I was just eating the same things every day, and I kind of lost interest in logging. So
Yeah. Well, this
yeah.
will might be something interesting because you'll probably end up wanting to play around with how much fat intake and your fasting and all that if you start trying to drive those ketones up a little bit.
Yeah, I do want to do an experiment similar to what Sean Baker did back when the sugar diet started to become a bunch of hype. And he did basically a fat fast where for 3 days he ate very, very, very low protein and super high fat. And it
Mm-hmm.
had the same effect that the sugar
Mm-hmm.
diet would have because it really comes down to low protein content.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to do that too. So I want to have a few days where I basically subsist on brown butter bites and Kiltz's ice cream. So
Yeah, you should. I
yeah.
did a fat fast recently. They're interesting, although you still just advice from me personally. Would want to keep an idea if you know kind of what your personal fat threshold level is,
Hmm.
because if you go way over that, you will, have those urgent trips to the bathroom that are so much fun.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
So,
okay. I manage.
yeah,
If that's the way the bowels want to behave, then oh well.
so be it.
That's so
Yes.
be it. Yeah.
All right.
All right. I had ulcerative colitis, so like I've had umpteen colonoscopies where you had to take that mix the day before,
Oh,
and plus ulcerative colitis. Before I got diagnosed with it, I had those kind of bathroom experiences up to 25 times a day. So if I have a day where I eat too much fat and I got to run to the bathroom, that ain't nothing. Because I've gone from 25 times a day to maybe once every 3 days. So I'm good.
okay.
Yeah. That's my new normal on carnivore. All right, over in the chat we have Main Runner says that they are here with us all again. Thank you for joining us. And Papa Carnivore is in the house. Good to see you, Papa Carnivore. He joined us last week. And you're more than welcome to join us this week too, if you feel comfortable enough. Michael Rothwell is from Manitoba. Good to have you here tonight. And the Carnivore Whisperer has silently entered the chat. Says that your food looks good, Kurt. You got you got the approval of the Carnivore Whisperer there. Rockin' Keto Amy, how you doing? And Papa Carnivore says, I'm at my girlfriend's house. As we were eating dinner tonight, we looked out the window and there was a huge iguana sitting at the top of her fence staring back at us. And look at Rick, he's licking his lips.
Making me hungry.
Uh-huh. All right. Who else we got here?
I'm trying to sign into the chat, but I'm having trouble. So,
Let's see here. So I sometimes just have it open on my phone on the actual YouTube video. And then, but right now I'm actually using the StreamYard dashboard.
okay.
There's a comments and then there's a private chat. I never look at the private chat, by the way. So, where was I? There we go. Oh, Thomas from Target Prime Rib is in the house. Good to have you here, Thomas. And he gave a good testimony over in Kiltz's Mighty Tribe this evening. It was always nice to hear from you, Thomas. You're welcome to pop on too if you would like. Grammy G, hello. Good to have you here. Let's see who else has joined us. And here's Keto Simple. Hello, friends. Just dropping by to say hello. It's back to school night. All right. Well, enjoy. All right. Let's see here. And there's Beefy 707. Welcome back. And that's amazing how much chatting takes place when I'm not paying attention. So, oh, here's one. Grammy G says, I refuse to follow their kidney diet. And me too. So I've got one doctor that wants me to just basically eat oats like every day, multiple times a day, and I'm not going to do that. That violates my no grains vow that I've made. And
Glyphosate.
What's that?
And the glyphosate.
Oh yeah, the glyphosate. So yeah, I don't even think about that. I just say no grains. So
And not to mention what that would do to your UC.
oh yeah, the ulcerative colitis would be
Tear
back
that
in a
up.
heartbeat. Yeah, that's true. And then but yeah, most renal diets are like, they try and say no animal protein, just plant protein. And they basically just want you to eat a bunch of bland vegetables, because it was like no potassium, nothing with phosphorus, and no salt, and then almost no protein. I mean, it was like boring. It's like just like lettuce and celery, with an occasional bite of chicken. No, sorry, that's an animal protein, so that's off the list. What do they eat? Probably some sort of bean, or peas, and oh yeah, I couldn't do it. So I'm willing to put my kidneys at risk and eat what I know to be a proper human diet versus that so-called renal-friendly diet. Let's see here. Carnivore Whisperer enjoys watching you eat, meathead. It's always nice to have a positive comment, because sometimes we get the negative comment like, "Oh, I can't stand watching them eat." But here's someone that enjoys watching you eat. That's very nice. Just got 40 pounds of brisket and enjoying the fruits of your labor. Wow. So for me, that'd be at least probably 20 days worth of food. I'm just thinking I can eat about 2 pounds a day, and I usually eat 1 pound to 1.5 pounds per sitting. Hello, Linda. Glad you could join us. And we're caught up. Tom says I need to sleep early and be up at 3 a.m. for work tomorrow. Okay, well, don't listen to us for too long then. We don't want to ruin your day. So, and then he's going to listen and watch Rick's facial expressions when you mention vegetables. All right. Okay, so we're all caught up. So that's a good feeling. Last seems like the last couple of weeks we could never catch up. All right. So I created the theme, the thumbnail and the theme tonight about what is your why for starting carnivore. And I thought that'd just be a good discussion, is to, we've all stumbled across the carnivore diet. We've all applied it, gave it a try, fell in love with it, and now we're living the lifestyle. But why? What brought you here? What was your why for coming down this path and giving it a try? What was your motivation to try and to give this carnivore diet a try? Would anybody like to share what motivated them? I know Rick said he was trying to die.
I wanted to get bigger and get a heart attack.
Uh-huh. When you say bigger, you mean like you wanted to be built like a tank, or you wanted to get fat?
I wanted to be built like a tank, which didn't happen. I ended up just getting really tall.
Uh-huh. Okay. So both your plans have failed.
More or less. Yeah, but the heart attack is coming. It's only a matter of time. One day I'm going to get a heart attack.
You think so?
Absolutely. That's the whole goal of the heart attack diet. Remember, they said you eat all that animal fat and all that protein, and you're going to get a heart attack. It's guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Nothing like having a plan.
Why do you think I call it the heart attack diet?
You bet. But you were doing this. You had to call it something, because they hadn't even invented the carnivore diet yet. You're one of the first.
And the thing is that my dad was such a freak about health foods. My parents gave me a pile of vitamins. I kept taking the vitamins even when I was on the carnivore diet, because my parents said, well, if you're going to eat that way, you might as well have all these vitamins. so that you don't have the heart attack now. I took the vitamins, all the brewer's yeast and the bone meal and, the vitamin C and the vitamin E and all that. And by the time I got to be 20 something years old, I said, I moved out of my parents' house and no more vitamins. I haven't had one since. But I don't know. I mean, for somebody that has heart disease, I seem to have a lot of energy. So I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. I think you're a case study.
Right.
They always talk about how there's no, I'm sorry, they always talk about how there's no, you can't have a real true RCT, for carnivores. A lot of people want to say, well, there's been no studies on carnivore. And I just like to point out to people that we are the study. Each one of our N+1s is the study. Okay. And that's why we need to be honest with our doctors, let them know what we're doing, so that they can document it, because we are the ones that are going to prove this right. And we've been doing it. There's millions of us around the world that are proving it, So don't lie to your doctors, tell them the truth.
I'm calling you out. I'm calling a lot of you people out because I hear y'all say, well, we go to the doctor and they prescribe me this, and I just agree. And, I don't tell them what I'm doing. I'm eating a whole foods diet, face the facts. And you want to be an N1, N equals 1. You just sack up and say, hey, doc, I'm on the carnivore diet. You don't like it. It's tough. That's what I'm doing.
What I do. Yeah. I want them to know.
Well, there's been a few out there that just don't sack up.
I know.
But I'll tell you, I'm just the opposite of Rick. Okay. I thought I was invincible. I'm older than Rick. And I've had 3 heart attacks. I've got a stent. I should be dead after a year of eating nothing but high cholesterol, high fat food. I should be dead because the main artery to my heart is 98% blocked. But yeah, that's when I had my heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
They told me it was 98. I bottomed out with my blood pressure. They about lost me. But I've had 3 heart attacks prior to this diet because I drank. Yeah, I'll agree. I didn't do the greatest things, but I was just eating the convenience food, whatever was put it in the microwave, order it online, get it delivered to the house. And I'm a little over a year now eating nothing but mainly beef and eggs. Like I did 6 to 8 week, 16 eggs a day. And yeah, if somebody was going to have a heart attack, I'm a good candidate. But here I am thriving.
And so was that
Carnivore Diet hasn't picked you off yet?
No. I'm waiting.
Was that your why, Kurt?
My why? Because I was circling the ring, literally. My health went downhill over the years, and it kept getting worse, and I get miserable and depressed, and I poured everything into a bottle. And then when I quit drinking, the pain was still there. It was even worse. So when the doctor prescribed me, he never told me I was diabetic. But when he's prescribed me metformin, and again, we're the fools that listen to the doctors because they know what's best for us. He prescribed me metformin, and then I was on, he prescribed me metformin at first, and then when I seen him a year later, he's like, well, I need to get you on Farxiga and Ozempic. I'm like, well, no, this is, I went home and I'm like, I got to figure some stuff out. So that's where I did 3 months of research, heavy duty. It was practically 24/7. The wife couldn't peel me away from the TV. And I'm like, okay, I want to try this. plugged it into YouTube, how to avoid taking Ozempic. Carnivore popped up, and the rest is history. My why is because I was circling drain. I wanted to be here for my wife and my dog.
Cool.
I was very, very, very selfish my whole life. Didn't care, didn't think of anybody. But now here I am, thriving. Got a almost a full-time job. If they give me the hours, I know I'd run circles around these kids, but that's another story. I've got a great job, good pay, taking care of the family. And
You've come a long way in the last year.
you think so?
I think so.
Yeah, you're doing great. Yes, definitely
Thank
think so. Yeah, my why is very similar. I prefer to live. And in my mid 40s, I had as accumulating all kinds of diseases. Every time I went to the doctor, it seemed like I had a new disease and a new prescription and a new issue. And I just felt like garbage, between the ulcerative colitis, the narcolepsy, the brain fog, the lack of energy, and being overweight, and the kidney disease getting worse. And I had high triglycerides, which is tied to the kidney disease. And so I just got to this point where I was like, okay, I got to do something about it and hope that it's not too late. And so I knew in the past, the only thing that ever worked for me of all the zillions of diets I ever tried was usually a low carb, keto, Atkins based, approach. And so that's what I decided to return to. And then I would look up information on the internet, particularly recipes. So my wife and kids, I made dinner. And I wanted them to enjoy what I was making and have it still be healthy. So I'd look on YouTube for recipes. And that's when I got more information on a proper human diet, a keto diet that's legit, not a keto diet that's, has all the keto junk foods that you find at the store. And then I learned about the carnivore diet through the same sources, namely Dr. Berry. And I decided to apply it and totally turned my life around. And now I'm a zealot. I'm a zealot, and I love to talk to people about it, including my doctor. And I really am indifferent as to, how he feels about it. I mean, I'll listen to the guy. I mean, my doctor's not a dummy, but he's also been classically trained, and I know there's just some things he's gonna spit by default, because it's what he learned and it's what the mainstream believes. But my N = 1 says differently, says that I'm doing something right because I feel better than I did, just years ago. And so that's my why. So I want to enjoy my day-to-day life, feel healthy, feel energized, feel good, feel positive, not feel depressed, and not feel like, every day I've got the Grim Reaper right on my tail, because that's how I used to feel when I was 45, 46, 47, and I'm 49 now. So that's my why. So I wanted a better quality of life, and I've achieved it. And because of that, I am not going anywhere. So for the first time in my life, I've maintained my weight loss and not yo-yo dieted. I've not gained it back, and it's been 2 years. So that's pretty unique for my case, because I used to diet, and then when I was done dieting, I get fat. Diet, get fat. Diet, get fat. Diet, get fat. And it was an endless cycle. Carnivore has stopped the cycle. All right. Going back to our comments here. Michael says, my why is wanting to be healthy now that I'm retired. I've seen too many of my fellow retirees be unhealthy and die or be disabled by a terrible lifestyle and diet. And yeah, that's a good why. And so yeah, I eat properly and keep on the move. Whether you go outside or whether you use a device like Kat's using right now, definitely move. I know a lot of people, a lot of friends. I have a lot of older friends who retire, and the ones who stop drop. And so I would keep yourself busy. Keep yourself mentally busy whether it's reading or puzzles, and then keep yourself physically busy. You don't have to technically go get an X amount of steps in, but make it your goal to get X amount of steps in, because that'll help you in the long run. Stay physically active. Because when you don't, things start to seize up. So, my neighbor just died, actually, sometime in the last week, and it was a very, very similar situation. He never left the house except to go to the store or go to work. Well, no, he didn't work. He was retired. He's 76. I don't know where he went. I'd see him come home once in a while, check his mail. Moved super slow. And then contrast that with my neighbor on my other side, who's 78, and she's outside pulling weeds, mowing the grass, raking the yard, moving furniture around on her back patio. I mean, just constantly on the move. Doesn't even sit down. I don't even think she even digests any television. And you can, the health between the two was night and day, so definitely keep on the move. That's my retirement tips, coming from a guy who's 49 and probably will never see retirement. So there you go. Carnivore Whisperer. Only thing I lied to my doc about was saying I eat avocados. I just didn't want to say meat only. She was upset about my cholesterol level. It was over 300, so I agreed to the CAC scan, which came back as 0. That's awesome that your CAC scan came back as 0. That's always a positive feeling. It's my dog's carrying on back there.
My doctor tried to talk me into doing a CAC because I refused the statins and all that, and I'm like, what good would it do me? Because I don't care what the scan comes out, I'm not going to change what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is the best thing I can be doing for, any plaque or calcium or whatever I have. So I'm already doing the best thing, so nothing's going to change. So knowing whether it's high or low doesn't make a bit of difference to me.
Yeah, and I can understand where you're coming from. Now, I plan on getting one eventually. I want to, and this comes back to me kind of being a statistics guy. I just I want to know the number out of curiosity. Will it impact my lifestyle? No, it won't. No. I'd like to get it and see a 0. And I know that if I see something, if it's something high, then of course that just adds in the back of my head another source of stress, maybe, knowing that it's high.
Well, I could dig knowing the number, just out of curiosity as a metric to see, where I'm at, I could, to me, it's like getting on the scale, okay, this is where I'm at today. Where am I going to be a month from now? But as long as I got to pay for it, I ain't doing it. And it cost me about $300 and I'm not shelling it out.
Yeah. See, here in Cleveland, there's a hospital that received a large donation from somebody who had a heart attack, some wealthy family. They made a donation to the hospital. And so you can actually get CAC scores for free over here.
Wow.
So that's
for free, I'd do it.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, I just realized it's 8:40 already. So just my repetitive spiel I do every 30 minutes or so. You're currently watching Carnivore Talk. This is a roundtable discussion where anybody with a webcam and a microphone and the link is allowed to join us on screen and share your story, ask questions, or just sit there and be visible. That's okay too. This is great if you're a new YouTuber and you're a little nervous about going live or making videos or something. This is a great way to get comfortable coming on screen and interacting with the community. The secret sauce is getting the link, which you can do if you are a carnivore-talk.com member. That's where we hang out throughout the week. And then I'm also going to share it right now in the chat. And you're more than welcome to click that link and join us here on screen and tell us what your why is for starting the carnivore diet. Moving on here, Main Runner says, Carnivore Diet eliminated my long-term shingles pain. Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. So I have a few friends who have had shingles. I didn't know you could have long-term issues after a shingles outbreak. I know if you had chicken pox as a youth, then you are at a very high risk of having shingles as an adult. I think there's a vaccine for it that someone may opt or may not opt to take. I've had some people that had it on their legs. I know I had a friend, she had it on her face. And after a while, it heals and goes away. And then I don't think either one of them ever had a recurrence after that. I think for most people, it's a one-time thing. So I'm not very versed in shingles, obviously, so I never was aware that there could be a long-term pain, but I'm glad to hear that the carnivore diet has eliminated that for you. It is quite amazing just how much a proper human diet will heal the human body. So that's good. Thank you for sharing that. Kitchen Witch says, came for the weight loss and stayed for the healing. And I'm kind of that story too. My goal really was to lose weight. You know, like my kidney doctor said it would probably serve me well to lose 50 pounds. And so I said, okay, in 6 months, I'll be 50 pounds lighter. And I said the same thing to my PCP, and both of them were kind of like, okay, you know, like they didn't believe it. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. I'll come back 50. I'll come back. When I come back, I'll weigh as much as my son. And I did. That was my goal. And then I got the spiel about, okay, now the question is, will you keep it off? And I'm like, oh, I think I will. I think I've discovered the secret sauce, keeping it off. And here we are 2 years later, and I have. Going back and forth between YouTube and StreamYard. These are blue blockers. Oh, on your eyes? Okay.
That was me. Someone asked about the glasses on the chat.
Oh, okay. All right. Yep, that is you. Okay. All right. Rodney, how you doing, Rodney? It's good to hear from you as always. Rodney's a member of our community. Greetings, y'all, from hot and humid Louisiana. How hot is it down there? I mean, most of the country, I think, has been under heat warning lately, but we've been in the mid-90s with a heat index of about 110 the last couple of days here in the Cleveland, Akron area. I'm 71 years old, and my why is to be as healthy as I can so I can still be useful and fruitful as possible in my old age and keep out of the nursing home. Those are good goals. Yeah. Good goals.
You know what's funny, Bob, and everybody else? I don't know. I guess I was an early starter. When I was 18, I had a bad case of hemorrhoids. Didn't know what they were, but I ended up going to the doc, and I got laughed at because I had hemorrhoids, and I didn't know what was going on. And this, I think it was maybe a year or two later. This is after I got out of the service. I ended up getting shingles. I thought it was the chemicals at work that had burned me, because we had tanks that you could clean metal with. It was like a lye bath, but there were like 3 tanks. The last tank was to clean the chemicals off. But anyways, I thought I got burned, and I went to the doctor, and it was a bad case of the shingles.
That's young to have shingles.
I was probably 21, yeah. 22.
Yeah, that I believe that's incredibly unusual.
Yeah, I'm a weirdo.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. That's interesting. All right. Well, Rodney, glad to hear that your why is to stay out of the nursing home and to be fruitful as possible. So that's a good goal. Obviously, I would like to stay out of a nursing home too, and I would also like to be fruitful, as in and being able to still serve others and be a positive influence on those around me, and even be a help and an assistance too. So I always like to be in that position where I can be, more of a giver than a receiver. So And then Carnivore Whisperer says, my why was to support my husband, and now I stay carnivore for healing. All right, excellent. So we've got Louis Lotito's in the house. Welcome back, Louis. You're more than welcome to join us as well. And let's see here. Here we go, Jeff. Did you all get moved yet? I don't imagine you have.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
We don't. We got just about everything packed up. We can get packed up right now that we don't have to absolutely live on. Most of the farm is trailered up and ready to go, but we don't close until the 20th.
Of August?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you got another 3 weeks yet or so.
Yeah.
All right. So I just did it so she would stop pushing the statins. Is that reference to the avocado? You're the same person that mentioned the avocado, right? Yeah.
Might be the CAC.
Oh, the CAC. Yeah. Okay. That would make more sense. Like, I don't need no statin. I eat avocados. That doesn't make too much sense. Yeah. The CAC. Yeah. Because now you're armed with data, and that's another reason why I might get it. Because like my doctor has occasionally dropped the word statin here and there, but since we were more concerned about my triglyceride levels, he's kind of let it go. But my last lipid panel, my LDL was back at 300. It usually hovers around like 220. It was up at 300, and my total cholesterol was over 400, and that's his threshold, according to the woman from the office that called me. Was now that it's over 400, you need to go on a statin. Or she asked, like, would you be interested in a statin? I said no. She's like, well, we're going to refer you to a cardiologist, and I said that's okay. And so they referred me to an endocrinologist who did call me the other day and set the appointment up for January, late January. So it mustn't be too urgent. So
Yeah.
And I figured it was probably high because I had, in the weeks leading up to that lipid panel, I had discovered brown butter bites, and I was kind of going to town on them. So my saturated fat intake was probably, triple what it normally is. And that might have contributed to it a little bit. So,
Bob, you could do like we did in the school days before you went and got a job and you had to take a urine test, or when you're in the service, is you just clean your act up for a couple 3 days when you're going to get your blood drawn. Get it cleaned up, and it should look pretty good. Do the Oreos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could modify my vows so I can only have grains and refined sugar in the 2 weeks before my lipid panel.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. So it just doesn't seem like the course of wisdom for me. Like, I'm about to have a lipid panel, so I'm going to open up a bunch of Oreos here, dip them in seed oils, and snack on those all day long to get my LDL down.
Tropical fruit.
So what's that?
Tropical fruit.
Yeah, that would probably work. And I'm not anti-fruit, so yeah, that'd be a way. But you know what? I don't care about that. I don't care about fudging the numbers. Why would I want to fudge the numbers? And then, like, I also am smart enough to know that like that number is very fluid. Like, so the last time it was 300, 2 weeks later it could be back down to 222 again. Because it fluctuates based on what you're eating a lot of the times. So, let's see here. Carnivore Whisperers CAC cost him $100. Ain't bad. Lewis says, I did a CAC and my number is high for my age, so there's that. So, yeah, kind of, oh well. Yes, here's a reminder, smash that thumbs up button. And if, you could even hit that share button too. If you got a place where you could share the stream, that would be great. Get some more people in here. We Are All One says a CAC costs $75 in my area. That's a pretty good price too. So it just sounds like sounds like everything's bigger in Texas, including the cost of a CAC, Jeff.
Yeah. That's about right.
So Bob in Ohio, you're in Eastern time. I thought being in the Midwest, y'all would be in Central time like the rest of us. Ohio's Eastern time. I'm not sure if it might be the next state over. It might be where the border is. So I'm not sure, but yeah, we are considered Midwest, but we are also on Eastern time. I know y'all won't condemn me here, but I've still been using some herbs like hawthorn, which has greatly helped strengthen my heart. I'll have to Google what hawthorn is, but yeah, I'm not against. I'm not anti-plant. I believe I'm still okay. I still season my meat, and if you want to use herbs medicinally, I think that's just fine. I think that kind of usage of them, I think there's a difference between a little bit of seasoning or a little bit of herbal remedy versus bowls and bowls and bowls of it with every meal,
Exactly.
So, that's the difference, all the plants, they have some measure of anti-nutrients and some measure of toxin, but there's that old cliche, the poison is in the dose, so when you were chugging, if you were one of those people that chugged spinach smoothies once or twice a day, ate almonds by the handful, had a spinach salad at lunch, and you were just an oxalate consuming machine, that was bad for you. But if you use a little salt and pepper on your steak, you're fine. Most people. I mean, some people might be sensitive and have reasons for omitting it, but most people probably okay.
Plants are just fine medicinally, like you said. I mean, our own Kurt right there, he uses plants for his blood pressure and it works for him. He's using it medicinally.
And I'm going to try it too on his suggestion. So I'm going to find a local Asian market and try some natto and see what it does. They also recommend.
I posted the 2 pictures, I think, in the forums. Somebody's upset.
That was my dog came in, and then the people downstairs are yelling for my dog, probably thinking it came up and distracted me. But
I got something funny to tell everybody. I told Rick already, but this is before I started carnivore. 6 months before. It was January of last year, December of the year prior, January. I told the wife we're gonna start eating healthy. I was gonna start. You mentioned smoothies and whatnot, so I went out and spent $400 on a Vitamix blender and the containers. I was gonna buy the grains that were intact. I was gonna make my own flour. I was gonna make her, smoothies. We're gonna start doing this health kick together. And I probably made a couple, 3 smoothies with it. I've done more with the vegetables she uses and my egg shells that I keep. I tend to use my Vitamix, $400 Vitamix blender for crushing that stuff so I can put it in my compost. That's it. And that was where we're going to start eating healthy, but I spent that $400 just so I can crush eggshells and vegetables up for compost.
Mm-hmm. You ever crush up eggshells to sprinkle on your food for the calcium? I
don't do that, but I do. If I get eggshell in my eggs, I don't care how big the piece is. I leave it in there. I don't pick it out.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do it.
Yeah, so one of those tricks I learned was you can let those shells dry out, and then you can bake them in an oven, for 250 for so long, 350 maybe. Basically, it's to kill any bacteria and dry them out real good, and then you can put them in a blender and you can turn them into the finest powder you can, and you can store that in a jar and sprinkle that over your dishes, and that's a good source of calcium. So if you felt like you needed to supplement calcium, which most people probably don't. So
we give our eggshells back to the chickens.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do.
Ducks eat them.
Yeah, that's a good idea. But let them go to waste. So yeah, I'm going to try the natto that Kurt does. So because I've got hypertension again. So my hypertension had been cured. Ish, like it went from it was averaging 145 over 95. I went on the carnivore diet, and it went down to averaging 120 over 75. That's still with my blood pressure meds. And then after this prescription drug debacle last year that damaged my kidneys even more, now my hypertension is back up, and I'm averaging 155 over 105, and I'm not too thrilled with it. So
no.
I've tried these, I've actually tried bringing in pickled beets. I've tried nitrous oxide precursors. I've added that to my daily pills that I take. I've been trying to have hibiscus tea. I've quadrupled my nebivolol, which is a beta blocker. Nothing's changing it so far. And tomorrow, I have a kidney doctor appointment tomorrow, and I'm going to discuss switching up from losartan potassium to olmesartan, which is a little more potent, and give that a try. If I can't get it down with those, then I might have to add a calcium channel blocker. I do all my own research, so I'll figure out a combination that'll work. But I got to get it down because the high blood pressure is not good for my kidneys either. So, and then hopefully in time it'll just things will improve too. Hopefully, the damage that was done can be undone. In time.
Well, if you do the natto, just remember that's very, very rich in potassium.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's good to know. So I'll have to keep monitoring that too. So I usually order my own blood work and keep my eye on it. My potassium gets certain, like I said, I've had it up in the lower 6s. That's kind of where that's where I start to get cautious, because upper 6s, you start feeling heart palpitations, and 7 can stop your heart,
Okay.
But the reason I don't take potassium as an electrolyte is because it's already in my blood pressure medicine. So in fact, you sent me a text the other day about that, and I forgot to respond. And that's why I can't take electrolytes like LMNT, because my potassium gets way too high. So I just salt my food to taste, and I occasionally take a magnesium. I usually forget about that too, and I don't have any cramping issues, but I get plenty of potassium with my daily blood pressure med.
Just so people know out there, as a reference, they manufacture these blood pressure medications there, and the base is a potassium. It's a potassium base, which helps lower your blood pressure. So
yeah, that's true for a lot of them, or particularly the angiotensin receptor blockers. Yeah.
Right. So if anybody's wondering why, why would you want to try something like natto if it's rich in potassium? You're not going to mix the two. Otherwise, you can bottom out and lower your blood pressure too much. You want to maybe go halfway, Bob. Try a little bit at first. But I did that with my blood pressure medication. I'm on losartan and amlodipine is what I was on. And my blood pressure got too low. And Jeff can attest to that. It was lower than Rick's, about that. So I had that's when I had second thoughts about doing natto.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back on the blood pressure medications until I could figure something out. So you just want to be careful.
So is this some kind of an herb, or is it a bean? What is it?
No,
exactly?
It's fermented. Natto is fermented soybean. I prefer that over nattokinase, which is manufactured in a laboratory.
Mhm.
I don't know how synthetic it is, but I don't trust any man-made junk. Now, I understand it's no different than eating sauerkraut. I don't know how well sauerkraut helps the blood pressure. Natto has been studied by Japan scientists, and I've put the article. It's on YouTube in the Hong Kong news. They did study where it's been shown to. There's tons of health benefits, and one of the biggest ones is lowering your blood pressure.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, I'll be willing. That'll be something that I'm going to try because I need to get my blood pressure under control for sure. And I'll be happy to eat natto if it brings my blood pressure down. So, all right. Main Runner says shingles after the initial rash went away about 6 weeks or so. I had pain in the area daily just before Christmas 2019 until about a year ago. So that's 5 years. 5 years of pain in the area where the rash was. Wow. Okay, that's interesting to know, and I'm glad that it's gone now. I'm glad that Carnivore did it for you. I'm sorry to hear it took 5 years. That's something else. So that's something I might look up later, just because I want to be more familiar with that. I've had chicken pox, so that means someday, I'm at risk for some shingles. So, all right. Rodney says, thanks for the nice welcome. I appreciate y'all, and thanks again, Jeff, for inviting me. I used to get on the video, as you all know, but like being on this end, supporting the comment section for now. That's okay. We're glad you're here. And we're glad you're here in the comment section and participating that way. That's completely fine. Hawthorn is used traditionally to lower blood pressure also, and also for AFib. I used to use a lot of marijuana in my younger days. Isn't that an herb? All right. Well, some people think that there's a medicinal use for that too. So. All right. Hello, Lexus. Almost said Lexi. Good to see you. You want to know what you missed? We're just all kind of sharing our why as to why we started the Carnivore Diet and why we stick with it, as well as some of the benefits we've enjoyed. And so the link is in the chat. You've been on here before. If you'd like to come on screen and tell us how you're doing, that'll be great. She's been on the Carnivore Diet too. I think started this year and has been having some good benefits. And she also has a YouTube channel of her own. So go over to Lexus Jones and support her channel. Rick also has a YouTube channel, and so go over there and subscribe to him as well. Kat, do you have a YouTube channel?
No, not at this time. Maybe someday. We'll see.
Okay. All right. And and then if you have a YouTube channel and you want to come on here and tell us about it, you're more than welcome to do that. You'll find the link in the chat. Research the many benefits of hawthorn for your blood pressure and heart issues, and do some motherwort for heart rhythm. Nattokinase, natto supplement, is used as an artery unblocker traditionally also. Oh, there you go, Kurt. Have you ever tried or researched the difference between natto, the food, versus nattokinase, the supplement? You're muted.
Oh, thank you. I haven't done the research on, like I explained earlier, with nattokinase, because just like with vitamin D, I don't like taking pills.
You'd rather get it from its natural source, right?
That's my thing. Basically, anybody can tell you anything and tell you this is what it is. I had to go through probably 6 or 7 different brands of natto before I found the one. I think there's one or two that worked
Mm-hmm.
really, I mean, really well. I mean, the others, they're okay, but they're just, they just don't do the job as well as the other two brands.
Okay, that's good to know. So if I don't see results with one natto, go try and find the different natto.
They usually come in three or 4 packs, and typically, if you see something if you go to an Asian grocery and you see a whole bunch of one, don't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people are saying, I don't want this junk. You'll see other slots in the freezer section. It'll be in the freezer section, and you'll see other slots where there might be a package left, or there might be completely sold out. That's probably the one you want to get. People are not eating this just for the taste. They're eating this for the benefits.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of pro biotics in it. So if you're looking for something like that, you would have to look at the video and listen to them that I posted. It's just amazing the benefits that you can get from this. The nattokinase, I don't trust it. I don't trust the potency.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I want to have to, what's in the gel caps? Am I supposed to trust you? This is what the gel caps are made of. It's not natural.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, no, I understand that. I prefer to go the natural route as much as possible too. All right. Beefy 707 has a question. How do you handle cravings for foods outside the carnivore framework? And what strategies keep you committed?
First off, mindset. Get your mind right. Know that you are going to succeed. Know that you're not going to fail. Be determined to stay true to yourself. That's the first thing. As far as handling cravings for food, mainly fat, eat. Go ahead and eat. Don't be afraid to eat. You've grown up all your life saying you have to restrict food. You don't have to restrict food. If you need something, if you're having a craving, then your body is telling you it needs nutrition. All right. So you need to eat fat first and foremost. And you need to eat until you're totally satisfied. And if that's not enough, then you need to eat some more. Don't be afraid to eat. It's really that simple. And when you're looking at foods outside, that's where your mental game has to come in. If you're traveling, carry foods with you that you prepared at home that are good for you to eat. If you were going out to eat, look ahead. Everybody can go online these days and look at the menu. Find out what it is that you are willing to eat, and be willing to forego everything else, or give your sides away to everybody else, and just keep the meat itself. Sometimes you just have to plan ahead. And if worse comes to worse, like for instance, a couple of years ago, my father-in-law wanted to go out to eat to his favorite Italian restaurant. I looked on the menu. There was absolutely nothing on that menu that I was willing to eat. Nothing. And I wasn't going to ask them to go fix me something special. So I went there and I just fasted. I ate before I went, and I just enjoyed the company. But you just got to plan ahead. But first off, get your mind right. I am a carnivore. I do not eat anything but meat, salt, and water, period. And that doesn't change. And if there's nothing for me to eat, then I do like a caveman. I go hungry until I kill something. So that's how I do it.
Yeah, and for me, I would eat, so bad decisions are made on an empty stomach. So that's, if you're craving this thing there, eat something that's proper, until you don't, you feel full, you feel satisfied, and then the power behind that craving isn't going to get mastery over you anymore.
And try to remember, nothing tastes as good as how I feel. Nothing. I feel amazing. We talked about our whys earlier, and I've told my why many times. I hit rock bottom, and I was a 66-year-old man that felt like he was 86, just waiting to die. And now I'm a 69-year-old man who feels like he's in his 40s with a full life ahead of him. My why was to get my life back, pure and simple. And nothing is going to steer me different from that. Nothing's going to change that for me, because I've come so far and I feel so good that I'm not going to give that up. So that's why I say nothing tastes as good as how I feel.
And for me also, that's why I often describe my diet as in the term in using language as in I made a vow. Okay. So offline, I'm a very religious person who takes his vows seriously. And so I made a vow that I would never again eat grains or refined sugar for the rest of my life, unless it was my wedding anniversary. And the reason I worded it that way is you take out grains and you take out refined sugar, and that eliminates most, if not all, of man-made ultra-processed food. And so my philosophy is that I would only eat it if it is something that God or nature provided for humans to eat, which means you basically have to either pluck it off of a vine or a branch, or be able to hunt it down, slit its throat, kill it, roast over a fire, And so that means no bread, no Snickers bars. You can't send your hunting dogs into the brush to flush out Snickers bars and shoot them down. It doesn't work that way, And so I try and, whatever I would have eaten in Paleolithic times, which would have been mostly hunt, and occasionally might stumble across the fruitage of something that, that was edible if the other animals in nature hadn't already picked it off first. So it was mostly hunting. That's just the way humans in the past ate. Go outside and walk the neighborhood, walk a nature trail, look around and try and find something to eat. There's nothing. There's literally nothing. You know what there is? There's the rabbits, the squirrels, the wildlife. That's there to eat. But you try and, unless you have the knowledge of some of these plants, you are taking a massive gamble sticking any of that in your mouth, because you could wake up sicker than a dog or dead. So that's the way I try and approach things, So in my first year, I was super strict because I had a goal. I'm going to weigh as much as my son when I come back in 6 months. So I had a goal. I was really strict, and I did not touch a single plant in a year. And with the exception of 2 occasions, and one of them was October. I had started this carnivore diet in May, started a proper human keto diet in April. And so I'm 6 months in. And in October, my wife decides to make pumpkin bread. And it is my mom's recipe. So she makes it, and she's like, will you have a slice since it's your mom's recipe and I made it? I'm like, no, I won't have a slice. She's like, well, would you at least take a bite? I'm like, okay, sure, I'll take a bite, And so she brought it up, and I had a bite of the pumpkin bread. And it would taste just like my mom's. It was delicious. And she takes the plate with the rest of the bread sliced downstairs. And within less than a minute, all of a sudden, I was jonesing. Like I had just like I was a drug addict and I've just got exposed to that drug again for the first time in ages. I was shaken. I was starving. All I could think about was that pumpkin bread. I've never felt this way in my life. It was the creepiest thing. I went downstairs and I'm like, string cheese, pepperoni, beef jerky. And I'm just like, I just horked down food, and I was hungry. So that was a problem too, was I hadn't had dinner yet. And I just gorged and gorged and gorged on carnivore friendly foods, you know, trying to crush that craving. Craziest thing that ever happened to me. And that was the addiction. The addiction was still real. In year 2, that doesn't happen anymore. So I don't have that kind of response anymore. So, you know, does that mean I'm no longer addicted? I don't know. But those cravings that you're talking about, like, you know, there used to be a time where I was doing this carnivore diet, but I still missed those things. Now I don't even see it as food.
Same.
Diet Mountain Dew. Diet Mountain Dew.
I don't see it as food. This is my vice, is artificially sweetened beverages. So, but that I never made that vow. So
Yeah, I was
just like I might occasionally have, you know, broccoli when I go out to eat. You know, if I cheat on keto. I might occasionally have a plum or a strawberry or something, you know, but you know, those were not included in my vows, because the vows said, you know, I had to eat whatever God or nature provided. You can still find those things in nature. You know, I don't make a habit of eating them because carnivore alone has been life-changing. So even if I have it from once in a while, and in the far distance you hear Rick quacking.
Okay.
When I do,
junk food.
you know, it's so infrequent that it like there's zero damage done. You know.
Okay. I need to address Beefy because he's getting concerned.
Okay.
Beefy, I was circling the drain, and I had to make a decision. What's more important? My health? Being here, you got to have a strong reason why. Why? Because I want to lose 20 pounds. Sorry, you can gain it back. That's nothing. You gotta have a bigger why. And once you stuck with this, the craving. When you get that craving, you got to stop and think. Wow, do I really want to go back to the way I was, feeling like I was?
Yep.
Is it worth it? I can give you an example. Okay, I've been a year. I have this thing for pistachios and cashews. I had some. I regretted it hours later, not a day later, not 2 days later, hours later. And I paid for it, having that little bit of nuts. I paid for it for 3 days. And it's not worth it to me. And that just makes me go back to thinking, you know, I see these people. The people I work with, they order food. They get DoorDash or whatever, and I see them walking up. They get their food. They come back, walk by me, pizza, all kinds of stuff. I just look at them because some of these people I've talked to, I've mentioned, because I see how they walk. They act like they're in pain. They complain about their legs or they're out of breath. Well, you know, have you thought about maybe switching up your diet? You know, giving up not the seed oils, and they just think I'm blowing smoke up their backside. When they walk past me, waddle past me, carrying that food, I just smile and laugh. Because I know that's not going to be me.
Wow.
It's not going to be my family. It sounds cold, but I've you try talking to these people, and you just got to keep it. You got to think for yourself. You know, nobody else is going to take care of you. Nobody. My wife isn't going to take care of me, my health. I had these vices of eating pizza 6 days a week. She catered to it. You know, we didn't know. You know, it's not like she was trying to kill me, but it's just the fact that uneducated people aren't that bright. And when they've been set in their ways for so long, the older you get, the more set in your ways you are. Look at Rick. He's 41 years at it, and he won't give up. He won't
Nope.
change.
I'm not going to the duck food. I'm not going to be waddling and quacking.
So yeah, you mentioned that you're 58 days in, and that all you hear about people is never craving again, and makes you feel like a loser. So I would say,
Really
remember,
youngster.
you were only 50 days in. Only 50 days in. And that's why I told my story about I was 5 months in and dealt with those voracious cravings and that addiction still. That's the reason why I told that story. So hang in there. The fact that you've made it 58 days proves that you can make this last forever. You know, so you're 50 days in, you're 58 days in, you're 58 days strong.
That's right.
Take it one day at a time, 1 hour at a time. I got over my addiction really fast, but that's because my mindset was locked in. I was like a homing missile. I'm not going to be deterred from my goals, period.
Exactly.
And so my cravings were nothing for me. You know, and I know that's not what you want to hear, but it still goes back to the mindset. You've got to lock in that mindset that this is what you're going to do. This is what you are, you know, and you can't deviate from it. And if you give in to it, don't count it as failure. Everybody has a little slip up now and then. You know, most people have a little slip up now and then. Don't count it as failure. Count it as a lesson learned, especially like with Bob or Kurt. You know, they had a slip up and they paid the price. Well, that wasn't a failure.
Jeff.
Huh?
Tell them about that chili incident. Come on.
Yeah, right.
There.
3 months in. So, you know, you learn that as a lesson, so it's not a failure. And I did the same thing. That's what he was telling me about the chili. You know, I'm 6 months in, and my wife wanted some venison chili, and I says, yeah, okay. So I fixed her a bowl of venison chili, and I thought, man, well, it's been a long time. That's mostly meat. You know, I'll go for it. And so I fixed me a small bowl of it. And it tasted so good because I do make a good chili, if I say so myself. And so I had another small bowl. My wife even warned me. She says, you might want to be careful. You know, don't eat too much. And I said, no, I'm fine. There's just small bowls. I was sick for the next 3 days. My stomach was tore up for the next 3 days. And it wasn't hot. I love hot food. You can't burn me out. You know, but I don't know if it was the tomatoes in it or if it was the heavy amount of chili powder in it or what, but it made me sick for 3 days. I will never touch chili again. That was my lesson learned. So everybody has that lesson to learn. So if you do screw up, don't worry about it. It's not a failure. You're not done. Pick up where you left off, continue on, and just remember that as a lesson learned. Forget the mistake, remember the lesson. You know, but you can do it. You're early in on this. Some people, you know, they can go 3-4 months and still have the cravings, 5 months, you know, and the more often you slip up, the longer it's going to take you to get over it. So be tough, hang in there, and continue to be strong. You can get over it. You know, it's just like quitting alcohol, quitting tobacco, quitting any drug. You know, you have to stay totally away from it to get over it. You can't touch it ever again. You know, so I would encourage you to hang tough and get past this. And you'll eventually, one day, man, you'll see a spread. You'll be at somebody's house and they'll have a spread out there and they'll have all kinds of goodies and snacks like at Christmas time or something. And you look at that, and if you're anything like me, you're going to look at that and it's not going to have any appeal to you at all. I mean, you could have taken and put a bunch of manure on that table, and it would have meant as much to me as what was out there, because that's how far gone I am when it comes to cravings anymore. And you can get there too. You just got to be tough, man. Hang in there. And when you're having those cravings, make some brown butter bites. Find out how to make them. If you don't know how to do it, make some brown butter bites. Eat butter. A lot of people have had a lot of success just getting out a stick of butter, cutting a pat or two off, and eating it. And that helps them get over those cravings. Feed that body that fat.
Yeah, that's good advice. And remember, 58 days, you're 58 days strong. It's 58 days of victory. And if you've made it 58 days, you can keep going. Jeff correlated it to like tobacco, and I remember when I quit smoking, I remember everything in sets of threes. The first 3 hours were hell. The first 3 days were terrible. The first 3 weeks, was a milestone. Even after 3 months, like I still was like, I could stand next to someone and be like, man, that smells so good. But I know that, I've gone 3 months. There's no need to stick one of those things up to my lips anymore. If I can do it this long, I can do it forever. And then after 3 years, then I finally found it repulsive. So I just, for some reason, I remember everything in sets of threes: 3 hours, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years.
Yep.
It was kind of like my healing progress from when I ceased using tobacco products altogether. And so I would say, just, keep doing what you're doing, and distraction, so if you find yourself craving something, are you hungry? Eat. Are you bored? Go do something to get your mind off of it, so that's the way I would approach that. It'd be just like any other bad habit. When for some reason the temptation to participate in that bad habit arises, you got to distract yourself with something. So, or channel it into something good. Let's rewind this chat for a bit. Going back to supplements, Rodney agrees that the natural source is always better. Papa Carnivore was on Losartan and 2 other BP meds before Carnivore. Now no BP meds and has perfect blood pressure. That is awesome. I envy you. So that's nice. Nice to hear. And this is a good comment too. It's a commitment. I tell anyone that wants to try it, there is no try. You can't mix carbs and sugar with fat diet. High fat. Yep.
Bingo.
Yep. And then as Mitch always says, hide your scale and never let yourself get hungry. It's when you get hungry that you're most in danger of cravings. Yes. Yeah, we talked about that too. So yeah, if you're hungry, eat. Maybe you're trying to practice intermittent fasting, but you were hungry, so you had to eat. That's okay. You just resume trying it again the next day. That's fine. As long as you're staying true to your proper human diet or your carnivore diet, that's what counts. So it's not a race. If you're trying to lose weight, it's not a race. If you're trying to heal, it's going to take time. It's hard to have cravings when you're stuffed full of fatty meat and eggs. That is true. Rodney says, I sometimes have a soft-boiled egg or two that I keep in the fridge, sprinkled with lots of real salt, and feel satisfied after.
There you go.
So, yeah. Yep. Easy to reach for snack, convenient food. So I try to prepare ahead, says Kat, who's left the screen. Sometimes I make a carnivore crepe. Is that how you pronounce that? Crepe?
Yeah.
Crepe cake around special occasions so I don't feel left out. Yeah, that's a good idea. So you know what? That actually brings up she mentions the carnivore crepe cake. That brings up our good friend over at Chris Cooking Nashville or Courtney Luna's cookbook. You know, these are individuals who have made, you know, these carnivore recipes to help people who struggle with cravings, you know. So there's some people that, you know, like there's people like me that is a creature of habit, and I'm okay with simplicity. Give me eggs in the morning, give me steak in the evening. I'm a happy man. And but then you got some people that, you know, to go from the wide varied diet that they used to enjoy to something much more strict and rigid like carnivore, they struggle. And so, you know, people like Chris Cooking Nashville and Courtney Luna, you know, their recipes, you know, can add a lot of variety to your diet too. So, you know, brown butter bites is simple. You can take brown butter bites and you can throw some bacon in it. If you want it sweet, you can throw some hallulose in it, or stevia. Even just the browned butter in itself tastes kind of sweet after coming out of the pan, cooling and solidifying. You know, it's like carnivore candy. So that can be a good and bad thing depending on your personality. So also bring foods along you enjoy, like cheese, meat, etc., if you don't want to be stuck not eating. And yeah, and that's good advice too. That's what Jeff was saying. Bring your own prepared food. Look ahead. Look ahead and see what's you're going to be facing and prepare accordingly.
Keep it on the engine.
Keep it on the engine. So that's why I love this community. Appreciate it, folks. Hopefully we were able to help you out there and give you some tips and some ideas. Kat says, I sometimes bargain with myself, make it through this and you will have a delicious steak, which is much better than this food. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. Endure the trial for now and be rewarded with a fat ribeye later. That's a good mentality. So, all right. You've been requested to smile big, Rick. There we go.
And a quack. Quack, quack, quack.
Yeah. We saw Grammy G step out. I said bye in the chat. Oh, let's see. Here we go. Cat had to jump off to take care of the kids and the chickens. Okay. Well, you know what? If you're still listening, or if you come back and watch this, we enjoyed having you here. Yep. And you're more than welcome to return and participate again on a subsequent Monday. Rodney says, Jeff, I'm a moderator on Carnivores for Christ with over 26,000 members. Nice. And there have been more and more people with AFib seeking help, and I've been directing them to your interview with Carrie Mann. All right. Yeah, very good. Jeff's done a number of inspiring interviews with his AFib resolution on a carnivore diet. So, yeah. And that's what you do. That's the whole point of these interviews, is to get the word out. You know, get the word out. Here's someone who's dealing with something like I am, and this is what helped them. Maybe it'll help me too. That's the whole point of these interviews and these YouTube testimonies.
Now, that's what drew Rodney to me, is that's why he contacted me. You know, it was from my interview with Carrie, and he has a little different heart issue than what I had, and it's not fixing him. He's doing, you know, some other things, but he's hanging in there, and he's doing the best he can, and you know, he's in my prayers daily. You know, that Jesus will lay his healing hands on him and straighten out his heart. But I know that he loves the Lord, and he will praise the Lord no matter what the Lord's will is for him.
Yeah, very good. Very good. And let's see here. What does that say? Oh, okay. All right. So we have Lexus says, I still get cravings because of my medications. I'm praying that goes away soon. Yeah, that could be. So that can make perfect sense. So I think the similar advice would be the same as when the cravings hit, make sure you redirect. If you're gonna eat something carnivore. And a lot of the getting over the cravings is up here. So, Rodney, do they have a YouTube channel? I'm thinking that's asking about the Carnivores for Christ group. If the
It's on
group has a
Facebook.
YouTube channel,
It's on Facebook.
That's a Facebook group. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Kat, nice to meet all you. Hope to be back again. Yes, that was a pleasure to have you here. We hope to see you back again too. Lexus is 48 days in. Yeah, so I do think the 48 days, the 58 days, I would say it's not surprising that you would still have cravings, that soon, because I had cravings, at least 6 months, maybe even 8 to 10 months into my first year, and I still I would still look at the things that I used to eat, when the family would go out and be like, man, I really wish I could eat that. Now I don't. Now I'm just like, I have no interest in eating that. But there was a long time where I wish I could eat it, but I had to be strict with myself. Bob, by the grace and mercy of God, I've not touched or even desired alcohol, drugs, or tobacco in over 40 years. Okay, cool. Yes, that is awesome. That is awesome. So I'm not going to sit here and get all preachy, but I can think of a number of scriptural principles that would, when read with an earnest heart, would steer you away from the use of alcohol, drugs, and tobacco. So I'm glad that you've done just that. So Lexus tries to eat before getting hungry enough to have cravings. It's so hard to fight them once they get to a certain point. Yep. Yeah. It's just kind of like, nip it in the bud, as they say, squash the craving when it's just germinating, when it's just starting. And yeah, don't let it linger. Don't meditate on your cravings. You'll actually just feed them and make them stronger and bigger. That's why I say distract, deflect. So you guys are all right. What Rick told me about you guys was all wrong. I tune into him on Saturday mornings. He's always slamming us over here on Carnivore Talk.
Quack.
He's always making duck noises at me and stuff like that. No, honestly, Rick's a good sport, and he doesn't slam us. He speaks very positively of us whenever I pop in there and participate for a little bit.
That's all pomp and stand.
This last Saturday, I was out of town. I was gone Friday, Saturday, and Sunday out of town without a computer. So how did your Saturday live go this last week, Rick?
Well, it went about 8.5 hours.
Ooh.
And there was a lot of participation.
Nice.
It just kept going. I figured it was going to be earlier, but hey, they kept coming. And I do want to make some changes to the program. And I'm going to keep the phone. I may add a video link, but I was going to do it in a different way. Everybody uses either StreamYard or EVMux. I was thinking about just using the Video Ninja plugin, doing it that way. For anyone, I don't know if anybody else has used that, for the more courageous people, they can try that. It's just basically a link like any other. You familiar with it?
No, what was it again?
VDO Ninja.
VDO Ninja. I'm gonna type it in here. VDO Ninja. I haven't. I'm gonna take a look. I see the link. It's right on the top here. I'm gonna go take a look at that in a minute. I'm gonna go use the restroom and remove myself from the stage. You guys can talk for a little bit. Rick, is your chat button broken? Papa Carnivore wants to know. Why don't you answer that? And I'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Chat button. I wonder what chat button that you're talking about. I didn't restream to my site because it had some kind of an error. But as far as I know, I see chats on the right. I guess Peter's been too busy to pop in. They can hear me. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, Amy's saying that Video Ninja doesn't work with OBS.
No, it doesn't?
No, that's what she says.
That's weird.
But
I've seen it work before. That's very strange. I thought it was pretty much, they had a plug-in where they work together.
I mean, here's the deal. You know as well as I do, Rick, that a lot of that, the way the stuff is written, it's coded, is some things work well with each other, but if your system, you can have Windows 11. You may not have enough RAM, a fast enough hard drive, a fast enough GPU, because some of that stuff can be, believe it or not, it can be GPU heavy.
Yeah.
It can put a lot of strain. And if your GPU is embedded into the motherboard, you can just forget it.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
So all this software, in fact, tonight I downloaded this software off SourceForge, and I was trying to do an edit. I did an edit on a couple of videos I did today. It seems okay. It's basic, but I'm not into all this software like I used to be.
Mm-hmm.
There's too much to it, and I don't have the. I guess I'm not inclined to use it like you guys would. Yep. I'd be like Rick, posting uncut raw footage. That's my way of doing things.
Mm-hmm. Well, people seem to like the bike rides, so I just stick them up there.
You ever caught his bike rides, Jeff?
No, I haven't.
You got to. I tell you what, it's a nice, calming, informative video. Those videos are very calming. Welcome back, Bob.
Hello. All right.
That's it.
Oz back. Did we ever figure out what the chat button broken meant?
Not really. Peter hasn't said anything about it.
Okay. All right. Maybe we'll see something here. Amy said had to step out for a bit. That's okay. Come and go as we please here. I might cut this short tonight. We had a couple weeks in a row where I ran this thing close to 4 hours, and the wife was kind of not happy with that trend. So, so I might keep this, try and scale this back down to 2 hours, 2.5 hours tops.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's see here. Oh, here we go. Rick, if you're making comments in the chat, they are not visible. Okay. Oh, maybe he's just been kicking it back and chilling on the couch there. Nothing, not a lot to say.
Well, I wasn't able to link my channel. I had some kind of an error. I don't know what happened, so I didn't even try.
Oh, it's okay. Appreciate the effort, though. Let's see here. Someone said Amy is back. I was dealing with some drama. Luckily on Carnivore, it's not as irritating as much. Yeah, you know what? That's true. I deal with stress a lot better having been on Carnivore than I did before.
Carnivore calm.
Carnivore calm. Yeah. So the every time I make a list of the benefits I've had enjoyed, I always find that I've forgot something on my previous list. I'm always remembering something new. I have zero cravings. I just get hungry. I think there's a difference. Yeah, no, like when I think of cravings, I'm thinking, there's the temptation. That includes the temptation. The cravings means the temptation to eat off plan. That's what I think the cravings are.
Yes.
So, whether you're craving,
and a craving gnaws at you. A hunger is
Mhm.
just there. It's an empty belly, grumbling. You feel a little hungry. You could stand to eat. A craving is something that gnaws at your inner being. You just can't get it out of your mind. It's just driving you nuts. And I'm gonna tell you, even after you lose the physical cravings, I have discovered you can have mental cravings or memory cravings. Because I'm sitting there one day, and I've been a carnivore for a year. I haven't had any cravings, in a long time. I'm over all my addictions. And up on the counter was a pack of corn tortillas. And we feed them to the chickens. They like them corn tortillas. So we feed them to the chickens. And I looked at them tortillas, and I had this memory come over me of how much I love corn tortillas. And, growing up in South Texas, I eat Mexican food all the time. It's one of my favorite things to eat. And I looked in corn tortillas, and it started going over my mind all the different ways I could fix them tortillas. And I'm like, what in the world? Where did this come from? I'm not addicted to this stuff. It's not even food. That's chicken food. Or duck food, as Rick would say. And I'm like, where is this coming from? And why am I got it? Well, it wasn't a physical craving. It was all up here. It was a mental craving, a memory. I was just remembering how good those were. Weird thing.
I always hated tortillas.
Oh, I was addicted for a while. I mean, I'd go to the Mexican restaurant. I loved chips and salsa. I would buy them at the store, jars of salsa, bags of corn chips. I'd sit there and tear them open like right before bed as a snack, late night snack, and I'd eat half a bag and then chase it down with like these little alcohol popsicle things. And
Mexican food tastes like peppers and soap.
So I was a big fan of Mexican food. That was my favorite food.
I grew up eating it, so it was pretty normal to me.
We went to a new restaurant here in Stow. It's called Spicy Sombreros, and they've got this dish. It's called a stone molcajete, and it's like this lava bowl. They bring that thing out, and it's got like chorizo sausage in it. It's got a couple chicken breasts, when I say a couple, you're talking like the Mexican portion size, is they're sliced kind of thin. A couple of ribeye steaks in there, a bunch of shrimp. You got a little bit of peppers and onions, and they want to serve it to you, of course, with a plate full of beans and rice and that you just pass off to somebody else. But I'll eat the molcajete. It's expensive, but you get a lot of meat with it, so I'm pretty impressed with it. And that'll be my, like I said, one of my compromises I might make once a month. We go to, the family likes the boy in particular loves Mexican food. So, and then
I always thought of that stuff as survival food. Mexicans are real short and they're not very strong. So I figured, well, they eat that stuff. They look like that. I'd rather eat something that make you big or tall or strong or something like steak, but people love Mexican food. I don't see what the big deal is. And then the Cuban food is all rice and beans and everything they cook is nasty.
Rick, because it's all carbs.
Yeah.
It's all throughout the world. I don't care where you're at. Just come to the South. You live in the South, come to the South. What is the most popular foods out there? Biscuits and gravy, grits. It's all the cheap poor man's food is what it is. And you're addicted to it because it's all carbs. So you're loading up your body with sugar all the time. And, that has always been the staple for the poor class, so it's the whole reason why they eat so much. It's cheap, it's easy, and it's addictive.
But it's disgusting. It tastes nasty.
It's cheap. That's why they want to throw a bunch of rice and beans at you and charge you a fortune for the meat.
We got a question from Rick.
Oh, do we? Let me scroll down here.
Scroll down, please, sir.
I'm looking for the cues.
Yeah, there's 3 of them, big ones.
Oh. When's the last time Rick had rice and beans?
Probably 1982, which is the last time that my dad forced me to eat that disgusting stuff. There's nothing more disgusting than black beans. It reminds me of something that came out of the rear end of a duck, and it tastes awful. It's grainy, it's nasty, it's sticky, it's horrible. And
Even when I ate beans, I would agree with you, Rick. I never did like black beans.
all the Cubans here, they love black beans. The frijoles negros.
Can't stand them.
Disgusting. And
Now I grew up on pinto beans. You know, that was what we always had.
they give me chickpeas, garbanzos. What's the other one? Lima beans. Any bean is garbage. I told my dad I don't want to eat any seed, period. They're all disgusting. There's only one seed that I can eat that doesn't disgust me, and that's coconuts. That's it. I can't eat any other seed. I don't want wheat. I don't want corn. They're all seeds. I can't eat that stuff. It doesn't agree with me, and half of it comes out the other end anyway. Well, I can't eat peanuts. Peanuts I actually always liked. So we would grind peanut butter when that's what I was eating. But other seeds, I can't stand it. And those nasty grits, things are disgusting. It looks like something that came out of a silo that you'd feed a cow. Horrible.
Grits are terrible.
It is.
The only time grits were bearable is if you dumped a bunch of syrup or honey on them to make them
I
palatable.
got that. Something nobody mentioned. My favorite, long time staple, was soup beans with a ham hock and cornbread.
Oh, okay.
Navy beans.
Yep. Pinto
Like
beans,
white
navy beans. Yep.
See,
Boy, I love
tradition. A Southern tradition at New Year's is to eat black-eyed peas, and that's one I've never liked black-eyed peas. Never could stand them.
Yeah. The only thing they had here in the South, they had pork and beans. And every time they had that, I'd have to pick the pork out and then wash it under the faucet to get the bean juice off of it.
Now that's hardcore. That's hardcore.
Rick, that's what my mom used to make. I could eat the whole pot, even when I made it after she passed away. My wife might eat a small cup of it, but I would make probably 6 to 8 quarts, and I would have that thing gone within a day. That's how much I loved it. This is before I started carnivore.
After being carnivore for over 2 years now, I would hate to think of what a bowl of beans would do to my gut, what it would do to my system.
Come right out the other end.
Oh, man.
All right,
I just recently had somebody had some pork with beans, and I picked the pork out of it, and I washed it off the best that I could. It tasted good. In 3 hours, I had violent diarrhea, and it was on the job, so I had to run to the toilet. It was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I didn't realize the stuff was that toxic. Crazy.
Rick, you're just a princess pea. Okay? Grow a pair.
But yet I have no trouble eating any iguana or roadkill that I get my hands on.
So how old can the roadkill be before it's no longer safe for Rick to eat?
Well, when you pick it up and it's stiff or it has flies, then it's too late. You just throw it back in the canal. But if you pick it up and it's still flexible and it doesn't smell bad and there's no flies, it's good to go. It's like the last iguana I picked up, the video I made. I took it home. I had the tail and legs cut off in no time. I cooked that sucker for lunch.
All right.
Here in Texas, that's illegal.
What?
Picking up
roadkill.
Oh,
yeah.
That's stupid.
Reason being because these rednecks would put on the big heavy duty bumpers, and they'll go out looking for critters to hit. Roadkill them and bring them home. Yeah, they'll hunt deer at night. With their pickups. So they had to outlaw that.
Oh, look, I found a deer. It looks like I got hit. Might as well throw it in the truck and take it home.
Yeah, but what if they run over a pig? They hate pigs over there.
we hate pigs, but it's still roadkill. We
Yep.
ain't allowed to kill it. And really pigs, we try to avoid them. We don't want to hit pigs. I don't care what you got on the front of your truck, unless it's a cow catcher and nobody's got those. You don't want to hit one of them dense sons of guns because they are dense. I've hit deer and just had some damage on my truck, but I don't want to hit a pig.
Deer
I've
can
had pigs
really mess
attack
up
me
your
in the
car.
Bobcat.
Do I now, Rick?
I've had pigs attack me when I was in the Bobcat.
Yeah,
They take a chunk out of the tire.
man.
Oh wow.
Pigs are tough.
I know. I hunt them.
Lexus mentions a book that could be useful called Brain Over Binge, where it talks about how your cravings, binge urges come from the animal part of your brain and how not to react to it. That's interesting. From the animal part of your brain. Well, I mean that kind of makes sense. Hello, dog. You're back. my dog.
I thought my whole brain was animal.
Willow, where'd you go? Oh, okay. I was gonna put the dog on camera. Let's see here. Video Ninja doesn't work with OBS. You have to have a very powerful computer. I tried it, Rick, a week ago, and it didn't work. It was very laggy. It's designed to work, but you have to have extremely powerful computer for it to work. I have a new computer, and it didn't work. 24 gigabytes of RAM, just upgraded, and it was so laggy.
How about the internet connection?
Interesting. She says if you have a gaming computer, outhouse, high GPU, it might perform better.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's interesting. I looked up this video.ninja. It does say like create a room, add a camera to your OBS, remote screen share into OBS. I've used OBS once. This internet stuff is just kind of makes things stupid easy, So
I used OBS on my live stream.
I can recognize that you do. I ended up just subscribing to Talk Studio for $7.50 a month to bring guests on.
OBS is a resource hog.
It is.
Let's see here. Rodney says, Jeff, my heart is doing a lot better, and big deal, I am still off metropolol. Mainly the issues are now pulse averaging 90 BPM and still skipping beats, but not PVCs, and going to the gym has helped.
All right. Well, you are getting better then. Good.
Yeah, very good. I've noticed the longer I've been on carnivore, the less I feel the urge to talk. Is that normal? Do you think it might be a form of sedation from my meds? I will have to talk to a psychiatrist. And so commenting on your situation is going to be difficult because it is unique. I don't know what the effects of your meds are. I also don't know, did some of these mental conditions that you have, did they cause you to be more extemporaneous, extroverted, and gabby in general? And now that you're healing, you're less so. I mean, I would have to know more about you, your situation, your medications to really comment on that. So I don't really know how to answer that.
It could be you're just experiencing the carnivore calm.
Yep, the carnivore
You're
calm.
just more relaxed. You don't feel like putting out there. You don't feel the need to put out there. So you're just calmer about things.
Yeah,
I know my bullshit filter just like went up about 10 notches. So I don't need to listen to all that noise.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you come here.
This is a calming noise. I'm talking about like the noise people at work.
I know.
That I cannot. I can go out there, hit the vape three hits, and I'm back inside. I can't. I just can't deal.
You know, that's one of the things that helped me with my AFib, because one of the factors in AFib is stress, and I would have attacks due to stress on the job. You know, supervisors that I just wanted to wring their necks, and one of the things that Carnivore has done for me is it has calmed me down, and I don't stress like that anymore. I don't get worked up over things as bad as I did. Now, I can still grit my teeth a little bit when I'm in traffic, but you know, that's kind of hard to avoid sometimes. But I'm working on it.
Papa Carnivore says,
Yeah.
I suffered with ADHD and used to talk all the time, talk over others while they were still speaking. Now that's fine. I can talk less and listen much better. It's the Carnivore Calm, peace of mind. Yeah, very good. So yeah, it could be definitely, this could be thought of as a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just read
Papa
my
Carnivore has
follow-up.
been off his psych meds for 2 years. I love hearing when people are able to get off their medications. So that's excellent. And let's see here. I just read through these here because I don't want to put too much personal stuff up on the screen and necessarily put everybody on the spot, you know.
Yeah, Rick. Yeah.
Rick's on the phone.
Yep. It's not going to be a work call.
Yeah. Oh, mentioned
Work
black
close
beans and
on.
rice is my dad's favorite dish. You know, I used to, it was interesting. I usually preferred black beans over pinto beans. So I just felt that they were more natural. And I worked at Taco Bell, and the way they made refried beans was kind of disgusting. So they came dehydrated. They came in a bag. They were all dried, and they poured into a pan just like a box of cornflakes, and then you added boiling hot water to them and a huge scoop of Crisco shortening, and you let it melt, and then you stirred it all up, and that was your refried beans. It was pretty gross.
I'm sure things have changed since you worked at Taco Bell.
Probably. I don't think they use the tub. I don't think they use the big scoop of Crisco anymore. I think they just rehydrate them now, but you used to add a big chunk of fat to it.
Yeah.
Seed oils, go figure.
When that's the thing. My mom I remember when she switched to margarine and started using shortening for making cookies, and because she had a sweet tooth. I remember her getting, when that changeover from using butter and natural animal fats, I remember her switching over, and who would have thunk that, like you mentioned before, the something about the doses, it's all in the dose of the poison.
Yeah, the poison is in the dose.
Yeah. She used that Crisco for years and years, cooking for us, and yeah, I swore by it when I met my wife, and yeah, we got to get this. This is what my mother used, and
there came a point when even those people said that Crisco was bad. You know, the solid vegetable shortening. They started taking that off the market. I mean, it's still there, but they started bringing in the liquids instead of the solids, because even the solids, they were, admitting that those were bad.
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah.
Were the solids more of a trans fat than a?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. There was a big,
yeah.
Big thing came out about trans fats, and so they had to, don't want you having trans fats. We want to kill you with this other kind of fat or oil. Stop calling it fat, because it's not fat; it's oil. Yeah, we want to kill you with a different machine oil rather than this machine oil.
Yep.
Rodney says Rick is very descriptive in describing certain foods. Yeah, like he mentioned black beans and related it to rabbit pellets, and that is an apt description.
Yeah. Agreed.
Papa Carnivore's intrusive thoughts are completely gone now. My mind is totally at peace. And you know what? I can second that. So I never had any diagnosed mental condition, nor was I on any kind of medicine for it. But I definitely had intrusive, depressing thoughts, negative thinking. I had a big problem with negative thinking. And having fixed my diet with carnivore, I don't struggle with negative thinking anymore. So that alone just has completely improved the quality of life right there. Not feeling depressed, not feeling down, not feeling worthless, not always suspicious of what other people might be thinking, not caring what other people are thinking. I love that kind of mental clarity now. Carnivore Whisperer says, I'm no longer suicidal. Last thought of that was April 5th of this year, slowly healing. Okay, good. That's good for you.
Awesome.
Glad to hear these positive results in the form of positive thoughts. I like that. I used to have such terrible anxiety and depression. I would think the worst of every situation, and the gloom and doom was awful. That's gone now. I'm positive again and can smile.
Cool.
Absolutely. Keep on smiling. Let's see here. And then I'm not sure how I feel. It's like I want to socialize and be around people, but again, I just feel silent, I guess calm. I go through those phases too, where I just have nothing to say and I don't really feel like, there's a certain idealism to going out and doing something, but at the same time, I think I just want to stay home today. I think it can be a bit natural.
Yeah, there's a reason why I live out in the country, and I try to keep my neighbors as far away from me as I can.
That's why you're moving.
That's right, more space.
I'm working on that.
I'm grateful for carnivore. It saved my life. I've dealt with crazy brain all my life. I will be patient as it heals. And
who says you're the one that's crazy? Who's the one that decides what's normal, what's not?
Well, I think that's her self-diagnosis. I've dealt with crazy brain all my life. That's how she's felt. Yeah. But now she doesn't feel that way. Yeah.
But people putting labels on people like us, because I'm bipolar, manic depressive. Who are they to say? I mean, you look at the people in the coats, they don't have the proper education to diagnose the root cause of half of our problems. But they label us schizophrenic, they label us bipolar, they label us a lot of things.
They do that to the kids these days.
Yeah.
And it gets younger.
You got some kid that's fed grains and sugars and how they process food his whole life from the moment he first started eating solid food, or possibly when he was on the bottle eating, the man-made junk formula. And you got this kid that's lived on sugar his whole life, and processed grains, and he's hyperactive. He needs something to do. They don't go outside and play anymore. They're in the house all day playing video games and being on the boob tube all day long. And then they want to diagnose these kids as having ADHD or, whatever, mental disorder, and they got to put them on drugs and everything else. When 9 times out of 10, there ain't anything wrong with that kid. They're just eating wrong and they need something to do. They need to be active.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure y'all are old enough to remember the days where as soon as we was through eating breakfast, we hit the door running. We didn't come home till the sun come down. And Mama had to call us 3 times, to get us to come in.
She had to spend 3 hours on the phone calling all over, find out where I was at.
Mine was just like, when that street light on the corner comes on, you better be here.
Yeah.
So here's a good comment for directed towards Lexus. Maybe you were over medicated. I'd call your doc. And I think that's a worthy comment, because as there's a lot of times where we heal other conditions and we have to gradually lower our dosages of what we
That's
may
an
have been
excellent
taking
point.
before. So someone that might have been taking blood pressure medicine or diabetic medication, or maybe even, an SSI inhibitor or something like that, as they heal, they need to have their dose adjusted down,
That's exactly.
and there's some
That's
things,
exactly.
there's a lot of things that aren't good to quit cold turkey. So, we'd
Mhm.
obviously wouldn't recommend, hey, stop taking your drugs, definitely the second half of that is important. Call your doc, and
Right.
talk to them, but it might be worth, if you're taking X amount of something, it might be worth to see what the next lower dose is for the next prescription, or if it's okay with the doctor, if you have a pill cutter and can cut them in half, maybe start taking half doses or something like that. But definitely talk to your doc. There are certain medications, and I'm not a doctor, so I couldn't tell you which ones for sure. There are certain medications that, you can quit cold turkey, no problem. There's other medications that if you quit cold turkey, it's a big problem. And
Yeah.
so you need to wean yourself off of those. So, and I think anything that deals with, your mental capacity or psychiatrics are probably fall in the category of those that you want to talk to your doctor and wean yourself off of following a plan or a strategy and not just dropping cold turkey. But that's a good comment from Carnivore Whisperer. That could be, as you're healing, your need for a certain amount of dose may not exist like it used to previously. So that might be worth investigating for sure.
Or the medication could be, because you're healing, it could be affecting you in like you're saying, in a negative way, though. Because I know that every medication affects everybody differently. But when I had, doctor put me on Prozac, I worked in manufacturing with 200-ton presses. And the only thing I didn't have an imagination my whole life, but the only thing I could just think about is, I wonder what it would look like if somebody had stuck their head in there when that press came down. And I was on that stuff for probably 2 weeks, and I took myself off because that was not me. So some of these medications out there, they shouldn't even be on the market. Just saying, speaking my piece.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's good. So there's wisdom in the multitude of counselors. So that's why we're here sharing and having an exchange of ideas here. Holly makes the suggestion to read the book, The Day the Voices Stopped. So that might be worth looking at. And then what was the one that she said? Brain Over Binge. So 2 book recommendations tonight that we could check out. Brain Over Binge and The Day the Voices Stopped. Let's see here. Rodney says he's going to stop commenting so we can close it out soon. Have a blessed night. You have a blessed night too, Rodney. You don't have to stop
You
talking.
too, Rod.
You can talk all you want. We'll quit when we want to quit. It's all good. You know what else is good is I didn't have a thunderstorm cut my power tonight like I thought might have happened. So that's nice. In fact, I haven't heard any thunder boomers at all lately. So no tornado for me. Still looking through here. We have a lot of people in the chat who talked about the depression and other issues they had that Carnivore has helped them with. So one of the many, many, many benefits. Oh, here's interesting. I frothed the bacon grease and butter in my coffee this morning. That sounds yummy. I have to do the same thing with tea though, because I don't do the coffee thing anymore for health reasons that are unique to me. I mean, seems like everybody else on the planet can drink coffee just fine. Lucky you guys. Let's see here. Yes, whipping up the fatty coffee makes it so good. So what I've done, I've taken, I've melted some coconut oil and some butter in a dish in the microwave, and then poured my hot tea in a blender, poured that in there, blended it so it would kind of froth together. Then I poured it into a cup and drank it that way. If I didn't drink it fast enough, the fats would start to solidify and stick to my mug. So I might be doing it wrong, but that's my experience with an attempt at bulletproof tea. If I don't drink it soon enough, then yeah, the fats will turn solid again.
Yeah, back when I was drinking coffee and tea, I didn't have that problem. I would put a pat of butter in my Ninja blender, and a tablespoon of MCT oil in it, and then I'd have that tea or coffee, just scalding hot. Pour it in there and blend it up. Yeah, it stayed that way. I never had a
maybe
problem.
mine's not hot enough. My tea kettle will go from 160 up to 212 degrees. I usually do about 180, 185 because I want to be able to drink it like today.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I have a cordless immersion blender that works. I've seen people use those. All right. Here's a good comment here. Look at all the new friends you now have in the carnivore community. Well, isn't that true for all of us?
Yeah.
Think how many people you've met and talked to now on a regular basis that just a year to 2 years ago you didn't, So I know that's how I met Geezy here. He somehow strayed and stumbled onto Carnivore Talk through Tapatalk, the Tapatalk app, and we became good friends there. So, and then same with Rick. He just wandered in here one day. I was saying if he would hear me, I bet you he's got us muted. So, and Kurt, same thing. Kurt, did someone refer you to Carnivore Talk, or did you stumble across it in like a web search like some other people?
Again, I'm like Rick. I wanted to find a community, and I see people were just starting out these communities, Steak and Butter Gang, and I don't want to name them all, but it's pay to play. I don't pay to play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cheap. I'm stingy. I like to keep the money I earned. So I stumbled across your community, and I've been there ever since.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fantastic.
All right. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Carnivore Talk is a labor of love. So no pay to play. So anyone's watching, you can come register an account for free and participate in our discussions that we have throughout the week. We don't charge a dime. Oh, all right. Rockin' Keto says, I feel mellow, carnivore mellow. I'm usually high strung. Yeah, carnivore mellow, carnivore calm. Carnivore Whisperer says, they call me mellow yellow. Mellow Yellow is Coke's version of Mountain Dew, which unfortunately I still drink. The diet kind, of course. Let's see.
It's also
Here.
a song.
Oh yeah, it is a song. Yeah.
Call me Mellow Yellow. That's right.
I feel and act like a silly 16-year-old boy. At least that's what my girlfriend says. Oh. All my aches and pains are gone, and I feel the same as when I was 20. Oh, okay. So do I feel like I did when I was 20? Probably
No.
not. Probably not. I probably had more energy when I was 20. You know, but I definitely feel like I'm 49. I'll be turning 50 this year, and I definitely feel I could easily say I feel like I did in my early to mid 30s for sure. I know I feel a heck of a lot better than I did just 3 years ago. So, yep.
I have to say that coming in at the age of 56, feeling like I did, I feel like I'm half my age now. And this is where the bounds of energy come from, because I can just bounce back. Before, when I was on the regular SAD diet, the junk food, whatever, I could get 2 or 3 hours sleep. I could function, but I would nap during the day. It was just constant struggles to get a good night's sleep. Now, if like with this situation with my wife getting ready for taking off and going up to Connecticut, I didn't get much sleep the past couple of days because I had to run around to do. And these are on my days off, and it is what it is. I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning. I didn't get to bed till I think midnight last night, and I probably won't go to bed till midnight tonight. And this is where I ground 40 pounds of brisket, and it's not just one and done. I gotta dice that brisket up, and then I gotta put it in the freezer to chill so it's solid enough to stay solid when it goes through the grinder. I gotta freeze the grinder, so that stuff's gotta sit, and then as soon as I get done grinding, then I gotta wash everything, dry it off, and then put the smaller plate in there and do the same thing. So the energy is fantastic. And again, I feel half my age, and I see these people that are half my age, and they're complaining they're tired.
Yeah.
I can get 3 hours sleep and go to work. You want to put me to work for 12 hours? I'll run circles around these people. I come home when I get off work. When I get off work, I come home. I'm busy prepping for the next day, grinding my coffee, getting all that set up, doing whatever dishes are left, making sure there's nothing left in the sink, making sure there's nothing left in the drainer. And then I'll sit down in front of the boob tube, watch YouTube for maybe half an hour to an hour, and then go to bed. So,
yeah, I can relate. Like three years ago, I felt like an old man. Now I just feel like I'm a normal person. Feel like a human being. 3 years ago when I was, 46, 45, 46, I used to say I could feel the sin plaguing me, making itself manifest around my body. I could feel the aging. I could feel it. I'm finally starting to feel aging catch up with me. I feel like the Grim Reaper's on my heels. This getting old thing sucks. I used to say that kind of stuff. And, but now I have a totally different outlook. And,
okay. I got a question for you, Geezy. Rick here. He's not included, but you, Bob, Geezy, I want anybody that's watching right now, I want to hear from you guys. Prior to starting carnivore, when you would be sitting, watching TV, whatever, you're relaxing, and when you go to get up, did you do the old people groan? Oh,
Absolutely.
oh yeah.
Oh, it would take me several minutes. Once I finally would get up, it would take me several minutes to straighten up. I would walk and it would be a lumbering, back and forth walk, taking the pressure off of one leg, putting it on the other leg, and, having to force my back to straighten up again. And now I hop up out of the chair, get going, back ain't stiff, knees ain't stiff, it's a wonderful feeling.
Yeah, I used to make old man noises when I got up. So yeah, I got up out of the chair, where I'm a tile setter, so I work on my knees, on the floor, and anytime I had to stand up, and yeah, and other people would comment on it, like, "Oh, you're making old man noises." Yeah, so yeah, I did, I did, yeah, and I saw Carnivore Whisperer made a comment, that oh yes, and it was horrible. Looking there in the little chat window, which I'll catch up with in a bit. Where I lost my place here. I remember it was Sandy Blythe that jumped in. There we are. Here we go. So welcome, Sandy, to the Carnivore Talk chat. Glad you could join us. It's 10:26. I'm talking about possibly cutting this out early this time. We'll see how it goes.
I'm ready to bail.
And yeah, it's my other half wasn't happy with my couple 4-hour stints because when I was done, she was already in bed and we didn't get to spend some time together on a Monday, which she said she didn't care, but then suddenly she cared. So I thought my joint pain was all gone on keto. Last night I lay in bed thinking, whoa, my joints feel so good, even better on carnivore. Oh, awesome. That was good.
So that's what another thing that got me. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's what got me to thinking is that's another thing that everybody I'm sure has in common is that we all had the old man, old lady, creaky. Oh. And do any of us do that anymore? I don't.
No.
Well, and the whole reason being
inflammation.
Yeah,
I think
there it is. It all goes back to the inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So we've lowered or eliminated the inflammation levels in our body. That's why the carnivore diet improves people with the arthritis, and other kinds of joint and movement issues too. And so we had a touch of it, and had we continued down that path, it probably would have turned into some severe form of arthritis. So yeah, we've eliminated that inflammation, and being 57 pounds lighter, that kind of helps too. It's less to lift up off of my recliner. But yeah, no, that's an improvement. There you go. I mentioned earlier that every time I make a list, I remember something new or find something that I missed from my previous list. That's another one. No more old man noises. I need to write that down and remember that. No more old man noises. So Papa Carnivore says taking out the plants fixes all your joint pains and everything else too. Yes, it's a good way to eliminate what could be causing your joint issues. Let's see here. Dr. Chafee always says plants are trying to kill you. Dr. Kilt says plants want to make you fertilizer. That is accurate. Let's see here. Here we go. I've had pain in my shoulder from shoulder surgery for decades, and it's gone. Only took a month or less on carnivore. Awesome. All right. Amy's right knee had been bugging her, and it's feeling better. Arthritis in her knees are gone too. Used to barely be able to walk across the room. Now can walk 5 to 8 miles every morning with zero pain. And that makes me think of Geezy and his trips to the mailbox and back.
Yep.
That was such a struggle, and now it ain't nothing. So
my mailbox is 100 yards from the house, and
that's a football field.
Yeah, it was a struggle to get there and back. And nowadays, I'm like you, Papa. I can get out there. I can knock out 5 miles, no problem. And I can do it briskly.
Awesome.
Crazy.
So Kitchen Witch says, Lexi, admire your bravery to share and how you always feel safe to talk about the things you're thinking. And yes, sometimes we're all we can do is listen, and we're happy to listen. Even if we don't have, much to say or answers or whatnot. Did I hear? I heard something else. And then I thought someone else was popping online here, which if you still want to join, by the way, I'm going to share that link. Click that link and you'll join us on screen. Yeah. And if you ever don't want me to highlight a comment, try to make that clear in the comments too. And I won't throw it on the screen and spotlight it. Let's see here. Holly says, my knee that had to be wired back together still aches, but I'm sure my diet keeps it from being much worse. Yeah. Yeah, that could be. I have, I broke my ankle. So I have 5 screws and a metal plate in my ankle. And every once in a while, it'll annoy me for no good reason that I can think of.
Yeah. This doesn't fix everything. And there's damage that's been done that it may or it will help as far as inflammation, but it won't help with everything. So I've had a prosthetic hip since 2000, and it bothers me once in a while, especially when I've used it too much. But it's better than what it used to be because the inflammation is gone. But there's times when the joint itself is going to hurt because of everything that was done to it.
Yeah, so my ankle will flare up sometimes. Again, not flare up, not like, I'm sorry, it won't flare up. It won't, it's just sometimes there's just a lingering ache, that I'm like, makes me aware that it's there and that I had a surgery at one time. Holly says, I eat carnivore most days, but do have a keto meal once or twice a week. And that kind of mirrors what I do. Mine's more like once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. But yeah, that's the same thing. If I'm gonna cheat, I'm gonna cheat with keto, and or maybe I should start rewording that. I cheat with paleo. Basically, I won't eat it unless it's natural, and you could eat it if you stumbled across it in nature. You could eat it and not die. So that's my philosophy.
I think I'm going to bow out, boys. I've had enough.
All right. You have a good night. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you over there in the forums throughout the week.
Yes, sir.
And
y'all have a good evening.
Yeah.
Have a good night, brother.
You too.
Papa says, if you cut out all the plants, you will improve your pain symptoms in your knee. Also, keep your animal fats as high as you can, too. All good advice.
It's amazing how many pains people have.
The thing is, while the talking thing is bothersome, I'm finally stable, so I'm not sure what to do. I don't think my psych would know either. And yeah, I mean, I would say, the follow the suggestions that were mentioned earlier, maybe about talking to your doctor about adjusting the dose, and maybe, some of this could be maybe just the new normal. And since it's the first time you have been feeling this way, it feels abnormal, if that makes sense, So, I don't think it's necessarily abnormal to have periods of time where you don't have much to say or you feel a little more introverted, than extroverted previously or whatnot. So let's see here. High fat provides max healing, energy, and weight loss or gain if you're underweight.
I noticed something. When I've been having, wife's had goat milk with their coffee, and I've been cheating a little, and I put a splash in mine. But I noticed that I was really lethargic. So I started putting in like a tablespoon of butter in my coffee. I feel so much better.
Mm-hmm.
That was the Costco brand grass fed. So yeah, I can attest that the butter is better.
Mm-hmm. So you upped your fats, and did
Yep.
you still have the goat's milk in there too, or did you eliminate goat's milk?
No more milk for me.
Okay.
It's nice. It makes the coffee taste better, as far as it like more. It tastes like chocolate, but is it worth it? No, I'd rather have the butter and feel better than have the coffee taste better.
Right. Yeah. No. And that could be unique for each individual too, because the goat's milk is technically carnivore. And some people might be just fine with that, but other people are sensitive to or just the lactose and just the milk sugars, so they want us to avoid it too, the carbohydrates. So yeah, that's very individualistic. So I was just curious if you're still doing the goat's milk or if you just swapped it out for the butter.
Yep, swapped it out, and I'm gonna hopefully try to get the wife off of goat's milk.
We have a channel suggestion here. The Way We Move channel is calling for Amy. I've never heard of that channel.
She is from Kazakhstan,
Okay.
and she promotes the strength in legs. That's longevity is in the legs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another guy, I don't know where he's from, but he does this. He promotes the same thing. So if you feel more comfortable with watching a male versus a female, I've got two people that I watch, and they're really good.
We see Milton's in the house. He's just showing off your kitty. He got up and had a nice stretch for the camera.
Oh yeah, somebody asked about Milton, so
Yeah.
Sandy.
Feral grandmother's in the house. Welcome. Let's see here. I cook my steaks and meat in tallow. Very good. Let's see here. I tolerate animal fats like tallow and bacon grease. I use them every day in preparing my food. Yeah, tallow, savory bacon grease, butter and ghee. I use all those too. Let's see here. I found you guys through Rick. That's because Rick's one cool dude. He's a cool cat, along with Milton. He's a cool cat too.
Meow.
Yeah. All right. It's another where the chat has kind of gotten away from us while we were discussing something among ourselves here. Sandy's been up since 4 a.m. Let's see here. We're aging backwards. That's kind of how I feel in the last couple of years. So because I've improved and I feel younger than I did just a couple of years ago. All right. I'd like to age backwards for real, especially on top of my head. That'd be nice. Carnivore hasn't fixed my hair loss, that's for sure. Lexi, good night. She says she's going to bed. Sleep well. And we're going to be joining you soon, I think, here. Question from Kurt. Should I take the opioid prescription after surgery? Well, that's a personal choice.
I mean, I hear y'all talking about, well, the doctor gave me a script for a statin. I hear what different people say. How should I address this? That was my point. I know what I intend on doing, but I want to hear it from people.
So obviously that's for pain.
Yep. Oxycodone.
Yeah, right. So I was given that for my ankle surgery, and like I can't remember how I was given, like 5 pills or something like that, and I I tried to make them stretch. So like I would cut them in half, have half of one. And I never finished the prescription. I tried to literally just, if the pain got too bad, then yes, I took it. But if I was able to tolerate the pain, then I was able to tolerate the pain, and I didn't see the point in taking it. And that's kind of how I would respond. That's how I think anybody should respond. Like, so if you're, if you have your surgery and you come home and you're not in any agony that, prevents you from feeling, at peace, or prevents you from sleeping. But like, if you're in some major pain and you can't sleep and your cortisol's high, then sure, take it so you can get some rest and let your body rest. But if you can deal without it, that's entirely up to you. That's the whole point. If the pain's too overwhelming, you have that to fall back on. Will you need to fall back on it? I don't know. We will see. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see when the surgery happens.
I've had back surgery, and the doctor prescribed me oxycodone and Valium. I took it for 3 days, and I didn't like it because all I did was sleep and go to the bathroom. So no, if I can deal with back surgery with no pain meds for whatever, I'm sure elbow is not going to be that hard.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's just kind of one of those things. And you know what? You could come home and you could be fine, that first day, that second day, and then maybe that third day for some reason, holy crap, this thing hurts like crazy, and you can't stand it. And then you might want to, take one of those pills just for that one time. That's up to you, and that just kind of depends on how you're feeling as you try and recover. So, but yeah, I would, that's the way I was, is if I could put off taking it, or if I felt like I needed something, but I didn't want to take the whole thing, I could cut it in half. I mean, that's what I would do, just for a little bit of relief. But yeah, like I said, and I never finished the prescription either. I think the last one I ended up just throwing away. So yeah. And I only had it was 3 or 5. I can't remember which one.
Never.
But having plates and pins in your screws in your bones is a little different than back surgery, because that stuff is there. It's got to settle in. It's got to heal. It's got a lot more healing to do.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. All I know is they're going to be drilling a hole in a bone and tugging stuff through. So who knows? He might fold me up like Gumby and take some obscene pictures. Who knows? Like have me pick my nose.
What is that, from an accident?
It was a pulled muscle from work.
Oh.
Yeah, that did not feel good. It felt like a rubber band snapped inside my arm. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're talking about, people are talking about grounding shoes over in the chat. I never heard of such a thing. It's another thing I'm going to write down and look up.
Yeah.
Yeah, grounding shoes. All right. Let's see here. We have a Milton is so cute. Comment.
He is. Got to keep something cute around here.
Yep. But it wasn't cute enough to keep him here because he says he's going to bed. Good night.
Oh, it is that time.
Or she, Carnivore Whisper. That's a she.
Mm-hmm.
My bad. Because you referred to a husband earlier.
See your video.
Right. Yeah. Good night. Good night. What about a video?
She had a video that came up, yesterday or?
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Yeah, she did a walk and talk.
Yeah. She had mentioned me. I guess got an idea from the bike and talk.
Let me go over here to YouTube. And I know I've been subscribing to people a lot lately based on the suggestions of others, but I have yet to catch up.
Yeah, you haven't subscribed to me yet.
On some videos here. Okay, so there we go. We got subscribe to Meathead. We'll find him to see if I can find him too. Okay, I can't find Carnivore Whisperer. Hold on here.
You need me to help you?
I can't filter this by channel.
Just a second. I'll help you, Bob.
I might have to go to the... I wonder if I go to my video stream, if I can just click the name.
Yeah, just go where it says go to channel. That's all.
Okay, so let me go over to my own channel and click on my own live stream.
Go to channel.
Okay. I got it. I got her. Just a second here. I'll post it. Come on. What are you doing? There we go. All right, you ready?
Forever to load.
There you go.
Oh, wait, I can hear it.
I just posted it.
All right, I'm going to close that window. All right. Okay. And
subscribe to this lady.
Oh, okay. See, I'm on StreamYards. That's not clickable to me, but I can do that on the URL. Let me type in my URL, and then let me erase talk and replace it with Whisperer. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we are. So I am now Carnivore Whisperer. If you're still here, I'm now subscribed to you. I'm gonna post. Here's the actual link. If anybody like me needed a link, and then really your address should be the same thing. Should be at Meathead, right?
Nope.
No,
it's not. Bob, you're gonna work for it. You're gonna have to find me.
Okay. What's it? What's your at?
You're gonna have to find me. God, you're gonna make me do all this work. I want some. You don't have commercials tonight.
You don't have a vanity URL yet because you need more subscribers probably, right?
What do you mean a vanity URL?
YouTube.com/@meathead, something like that. Something easy to remember.
Well, Rick isn't even trying to help me. What a friend. Yeah, right. Oh, thank you, Rick. I love you too. Oh.
If you go to YouTube, you click the three dots. It says go to channel. It's not that hard to find.
But it wouldn't open up. I can't be StreamYarding and open up YouTube at the same time. It wouldn't display.
Okay. Yeah. Good thing it's a PG-13 channel, Rick. I'll tell you later. Well, you're just living up to your name.
Oh, Meathead for life. There we go. So Meathead for life. And I got to put the @ symbol in front of that. I forgot that.
Yeah, unfortunately, somebody had Meathead for life with a number. So I had to spell everything out.
All right. Okay, so if you're in the chat, here comes another link. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that is for Meathead.
You gonna subscribe, Rick?
Go subscribe to Meathead. because he wants to have some YouTube privileges that require some more subscribers. So go over there and subscribe to him so he can open up some more opportunities here on the platform.
Yeah, we got to jump through loopholes or jump through some hoops.
Yeah. Sandy says, Kurt, you have a channel. There it is. I'm going to throw it up on the screen. So it's at youtube.com/@meatheadforlife. So it's got the looks like Archie Bunker smoking a cigar as the avatar. Okay. So a few posts, no videos just yet, but when you get some when you get X amount of subscribers, and you can live stream it at your leisure, right? Isn't that what you were saying?
Yeah, I think it's 50 subscribers.
Yeah, I don't remember what the rules were, but
they want a photo ID, or they want my biometrics, my face, and I'm like, no, I will build my channel. I'll do it the old-fashioned way, hard labor.
Sandy says she's already subscribed.
Yep.
So
thank you.
Yeah, Feral Grandmother says needs to make a video tomorrow. I haven't been making enough content. Yeah, and same thing. Like all I've been capitalizing on is these lives every Monday. I have a lot of plans. I want to make I want to break them down into little smaller, easier to digest videos, that are topical. And then I also I've got a host of video ideas that I want to do, and probably a handful of people I want to interview. So, but I also have to, raise a family and set tile for a living. So the time that I have to dedicate to YouTube is only so much. So yeah.
Poquito.
Right. Yep. This is definitely not my day job. So that's why we say it's a labor of love, So, and okay. All right, very good. Feral Grandma, is there a link to your channel? So I'm just going to try searching her first. Feral Grandma. Oh, there's a Grandma Feral with 44,000 subscribers. That's probably not you. Here's the Feral Grandma. And this one mentions Kismet and Loki and Carnivore. So I'm assuming this one's you. So we go ahead and hit the subscribe button over there, and I'm going to share this link. I believe this is the Feral Grandmother coming up in the chat right here. And yeah, there it is. So yeah, at the Feral Grandma. So
subscribed.
Yep, subscribe. Yeah, all right. Yep. So there we go. Subscribe to the Feral Grandmother. Subscribe to Meathead. Subscribe to Rick, who has vanished. And subscribe to Lexus.
Yep, already subscribed.
Yeah. And then, does anybody else have a YouTube channel? Just say so. I don't know. Does Papa Carnivore have a channel? Does Sandy Blythe have a channel?
Peter's got one, but he doesn't do videos.
Yeah, technically every account is also a channel, but I mean,
right.
Is there anybody that actually creates content and would like to attract viewers? So there's Rick.
Milton did it again.
Yeah.
No, that's it. Just blame it on the cat.
He jumped on the keyboard.
Ah, okay. All right. Yeah. Let's see here. And look, it's Booby Goats.
Aaron is here.
Aaron. Hey, we got to watch that. This is a PG-13 channel, Bob.
Oh, Rockin' Keto Amy. There we go. She has a channel. I think I already subscribed to that one too.
Yeah, she's making heart attack chicken.
Keto Amy. and it's literally Rockin' Keto Amy. Oh no, it's at Keto Rockstars. Ah, here we go. So here comes Amy's link.
Hold on, I thought that was a man.
Okay, there's Amy's link. So there we go. Yes. So everybody subscribe to each other. Show some support. I've actually been really happy with the support I've gotten, from the carnivore community. I've got 2 YouTube channels. I did a family vlog channel years ago, and I used to get on Facebook and these YouTube forums and basically just try and sub swap with another creator and beg for subs and stuff like that. And I got up to like 1,400, but I had to basically beg for that. And then right now, this one here has grown organically without begging. I got 2,520 organic subscribers. So
cool.
I think that's pretty cool.
Can you put Booby Goats in there? I just put her.
Booby Goats.
Yep. There's her channel.
Is the channel called Booby Goats? It is
right there.
Okay.
Yep. I just put it in there.
Booby. They laughed because I said booby the other day.
Booby.
In the chat, it was like, I got him to say booby. Oh, got music playing. So, all right. And yeah, so here's the link to Booby Goats. And let's see here. I figured I'd document fixing up our homestead and my latest weight loss experiment, the Carnivore Diet. Okay. So we'll subscribe to Booby Goats. And yes, and when I'm driving around and I'm scrolling through my news feed, anything that shows up in my news feed, I press play and I usually listen to in my truck as I'm driving. So heart attack cod fillets are good too. So Aaron has Chaos and Butterballs. Is that the name of the channel? Because then Amy above said Aaron had a channel. So Chaos and Butterballs. Okay, yeah, nothing came up in that search. You have to maybe give me some guidance there, and I'll share that.
Hey, Rick.
That channel. If anyone got Aaron's username or handle.
Oh, Rick's not there. Dang it.
Rick walked away. He went to go punish the cat.
Go figure.
It was 10:57. I'm actually gonna end at 11 tonight.
Nope, there's a menace.
So.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, flaring tool.
Yep.
What are you making up? A brake line or an air conditioner?
That's my dad's.
Oh, okay. I remember those. Those
Old
like the old
wrench.
Imperial Eastman wrenches.
Yep. Oh, Bob,
right,
I gotta get with
it.
you. I gotta get with you after we stop streaming.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to stop streaming, by the way. So you two can stay on the screen and we can talk afterwards, but I am going to end the stream for everybody else. And so thank you, everyone. Everyone who also just, popped in here when recently started chatting, Sandy and BB Goats and the feral grandmother and everyone else who might still be watching. And I have 3 of you watching on Twitter and 16 still here on YouTube. And I'm sure Facebook's already cut us off because I think they do 2 hours and then they shut you down. So, all right. Well, anyway, thanks for joining us this Monday night. And hope that you're happy that we only did 3 hours tonight instead of 4. And but I got in trouble. So I gotta get off the line and go spend some time with the wife. So That's that.
There you go.
So yeah, come back next week. We'll be here as usual, same time, same place, 8 p.m. Eastern time. In the meantime, you can talk to us over on carnivoretalk.com and the forums. And you can also, obviously, you'll probably see me and Rick over on Rick's channel. Meathead, he's on a bunch of channels too throughout the week. You know, we like to go over and we support some of the bigger name channels and a lot of the smaller ones. You know, Thomas, Target Prime Rib, we go over there often. Rick, where you'll be going to do the keto cookout tomorrow like usual on Tuesdays?
No, it's every other week.
Okay.
That'll be next week. So,
All
but
right.
I'm on Saturday.
Okay, Saturday, live with Rick.
Live at 8 with Rick.
I don't think I've got any obligations this Saturday, so I might be able to come in there and shake up the party a bit. So
There you go.
Everybody eat meat and be happy.
that's right.
Ring that rotary phone.
Yeah. All right. So good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Ending the
Night.
stream in 3, 2, 1. Clickety.